Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, it's a big day today. Should I call it Pinky in the brain?
You can call it whatever.
I've got some pretty big brains in the house today when it comes to like Wisconsin wrestling and just wrestling in general in the state, because holy knowledge. I got Zach Pearson sitting next to me. Thank you, Zach.
What's up?
Thank you for coming in. And then I have Teague online, Teague Fenwick from Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast. Again, what's up, dude?
Are you still playing the music?
No, I turned it off. We're good.
Oh, sorry. I was getting into it over here.
That's fine. You could have gotten up and started doing calisthenics, started warming up, getting ready for the match.
Put a
whatever.
tree on your back.
Giant log.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be chewing on lumber in a little bit. So, I mean, it's kind of close, right? Toothpick, lumber.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
Got a toothpick, got some beef jerky here, got coffee and a Mountain Dew. I got the whole setup.
I brought the big cup
for a 3-hour show today.
Yeah, I brought the big cup, man. And Zach's got some food. He's got a big is that the orange drink from McDonald's?
Yeah.
Orange drink. High C.
Like
okay. Yeah. It's not grape drank.
Yeah.
Some drank.
It's the orange drink.
That's good. So we're here to talk about a lot of stuff. We're here to talk about wrestling, right? We're here to talk a little bit about what you guys do, but let's touch on some things that I put on Instagram Live. Okay. So we'll talk about Nina Hortonville duel first of all, right? Wow. What a good duel. I did not, in my mind, I was like, oh, all right, well, Nina might win, most likely.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You didn't think they were going to?
No.
I guess I was basing it off of a lot of last year, and I know obviously they lost guys.
I had Hortonville by 3, so I wasn't, I guess it
you didn't have get killed or nothing
Yeah.
like that. But Teague, what did you have? What were you thinking?
I mean, in terms of the duel, there's so many question marks at the start of the year where it's hard to pick, but I would just say it was exciting from a Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast standpoint because I chose Hortonville to make it as the second team out of your regional.
Okay.
And Steve chose Nina, so it's kind of a battle right off the bat just to gauge and see where we were at. And you look at the returning numbers, you knew it was going to be close. And
right.
I guess in a dual format, it's totally different than a tournament format, but
yeah,
I didn't necessarily have a pick going into it. But if I'm standing by my regional pick, I guess glad to see that my regional pick won it over Nina. But dude, what a way to start off the year! You got two great fan bases, two teams that are looking to contend against each other at the end of the year,
right?
And then, of course, we're going to talk about the Skiba Cook match.
Yes, man, we are going to. I thought it was a typical number one Cook match.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of offense. He shot.
Yeah.
He did. He shot and he scored.
So the things scrambles.
Correct. So the shot he got off, he scored on. Would not surprise. He's very good at scoring in tight positions, especially from the crackdown position. Right. That's like his specialty. Yeah. He got the takedown, and then I think Skiba was rode out in the second period, right?
Yeah.
Yes, rode out in the second period. So obviously we're in high school. Riding points don't matter. And then third period, Skiba took down, correct, and got an escape.
Yeah.
So now it's 2-1, right?
Yeah.
So then, with that being said, where does the takedown for Skiba happen? Some of it I got a little crazy about because I was like, man, he's got to get this.
I can't remember. I think it was probably maybe Was it 3-2 or 4-3?
It was 4-3.
Yeah. Okay. So there was another score. In
There was, and that I'm missing. So that's why I'm trying to play it through my head.
I think Skiba did get another escape at the very end of the first.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
2-1.
Yes.
And
okay.
then he went down.
And then he got rode out.
Got rode out for a long time, but I think he got his one at the very end.
In the second. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was in the third. Okay.
No,
okay.
Then Cook went down.
Yes.
Got away 3-2, and then he took him down and rode
Yes.
him out.
4-3.
Yeah.
That was so. Being that I had Wyatt and those guys on here, I'm pretty close with the Skebas, and
the who?
Thank you, Skibas.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Just seeing who's paying attention.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's fine. It's all good.
I butcher people's names all the time, so it's like I'll say it 10 different ways before you're done with me.
I wouldn't correct you otherwise, but you had like a 15-minute, 20-minute session on that.
And then an extra call even.
Yeah. Yep. And we called the man himself, Ted Skiba, on it, and then I said there, now it's official. Yeah. Everybody can know. Well, probably like 2 people listen to it, but those 2 people know now, so they know exactly. But anyways, I was
made it that long into it if they did listen.
I'm not gonna lie, I was cheering for Nolan a little bit. I was like, hey man, underdog, and he pulled it off. And holy cow, were we just sitting in our house like, what?
Yeah. It
just happened?
It was a pretty weird. Like I was there.
Was it quiet?
No. I mean,
it was not quiet.
Yeah, you got both fan bases know what's going on there.
Of course.
He came from there. It's just Gingrich. Is that how you say it? Gingrich?
Genrich. Yeah, Chris. He must have been losing his mind.
He was very animated on the sidelines. I loved it, though.
It's awesome.
I love when the coaches get into it with each other. They didn't get into it, but when it's like they're like,
excited.
Oh, yeah.
Just as much as the team is. That's what you want, and you want to see. And that's the best part of especially that duel.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you said, Teague, it's something we're going to be looking almost at the end of the year to possibly, who knows, maybe we'll put someone somewhere.
Yeah, that could
or
be
not somewhere.
Who we're wrestling in the sectional final.
Yeah, right. I'm pumped. I'm excited, man.
Well, and the thing that I really like about that match is it kind of shows, Steve and I talked about it on our freshman preview, 99% of freshmen are going to take their lumps at some point.
Yes,
And
correct.
It was, Brad, we were kind of talking about it when I was talking about my match against Toma, against that pretty solid freshman, where Cook might be a better technical wrestler, but that sometimes it's an upperclassman just kind of having that experience or that strength or that advantage taking over. And this match makes me excited because if these 2 wrestle again in the future, it's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
And also for Cook too, the case with anyone is, you learn more from a loss. You'd obviously rather not lose.
Right.
But I think this loss is going to make Cook a better wrestler in the future. And that could be a scary thing for some people.
It could be. And so knowing also, though, too, that, let's not mistake, Skiba and Cook practice together. Yeah. They know each other. They know the things that go on. So that, to me, is what makes it even more interesting. Yeah. Because they know the moves that each other are going to make. And you can hear the coaches yelling, too. He's going to do this. This is going to happen. Oh, yeah. It was mainly Genrich yelling that stuff. But, there's a little sourness, I'm assuming, a tad, coming from, you just left Hortonville and now you're wrestling against them. And, wow.
Yeah. Just judging from the way that he was
received.
Clapping very long. It was a very drawn-out thing, but I watch for that stuff. I don't know if everybody watches that, but I love when
I love that.
Yeah,
it's because it shows and tells you the passion that they have behind not just the duel, but that match alone. It's big.
That was early in the duel too, so that was great. It was a great win for Hortonville to be able to.
Yeah, because now the stakes are high. Because now if you're Hortonville, you're like, oh, what? Right. We got this. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this. So now I can only imagine Genrich's brain and his body, just the energy going through his body. But now thinking back too, now you think, okay, Cook was a Fargo place champ, right? No, placer.
No, I don't think he placed. He was.
Cook was. He was a runner-up. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I think it was second place. I know he was holding.
Maybe Greco.
He was holding the stop sign at some point. Greco. I don't remember what it was.
I think that was Greco.
Yeah. Again, that's not really much.
I even brought it up on our freshman show. I'm a double
Fargo.
check.
I'm not trying to say.
What's that, Teague?
I'm going to double check here real quick.
Yeah.
We talked about how we did at Fargo on our freshman show, and now I'm just blanking.
We do that. We do that here.
Wolbert won.
Wolbert did.
I'm pretty sure he was a blood round guy.
Okay, gotcha.
But he did pin Wolbert at Freestyle State.
Yeah, which I guess I didn't put too much stock into that.
Oh yeah,
because that ain't happening again.
Yeah, I was watching it. I mean, it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Liam came over to me because Liam saw it. Yeah. Liam came on, and Liam was like, Cook just pinned Wolbert.
Yeah.
I said, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
He did not.
It was nice, too. He looked good.
Yeah. And hopefully.
Correct. It was a runner-up in Greco.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I knew he walked away with something. I knew he plays pretty well at Fargo and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
and he went out to U15s, I think.
Yep.
And he did pretty well out there, like runner-up for the world team.
So it was one of those things where it kind of, and my wife and I always kind of think about this, like, you always talk to your kids. You always want to make sure that they put everything they got into a match all the way to the end, all the way to the end. And I think that's what Nolan really proved is that Fargo what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they talked about that too, probably on the way home. Rankings don't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Ted said that rankings are made by old washed up men.
Yeah. That's...
I love Ted.
Zach, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, I mean, I'm definitely washed up. If you would have saw me at Folk Style Nationals
postseason in his pink singlet, I texted him that he basically goes, "I did just All American, this year." So,
although I could All American just by paying my money, I don't tell people that. There's only 5 people there, so I definitely would have got a medal.
So, Teague, obviously you know about him wrestling in a pink singlet last year, right? Because he lost a bet.
No, I was not aware of it.
This is probably one of the most.
I didn't put it on the internet. Like it wasn't blasting it.
It was out there.
I know, but I'm saying I didn't.
No, you didn't.
No.
But so he lost a bet. I don't remember what the bet was because I wasn't part of it. But
Team State, like if we won.
If they won Team State, sure. So he had to compete down at postseason nationals in a pink singlet. He did it, and he placed
third. Yeah,
third.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, right. How many guys are in your bracket?
5, but I had to wrestle all of them. I had to wrestle all of them.
Every one of them, right?
Two.
He couldn't escape.
Yeah.
There was no running.
Escape, literally. I laid on the bottom for 4 minutes.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Okay, all right, back on track. All right, so Cook Skiba match, to me is going to be the match of the year until they meet again. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, that's big. Number one, not only is it because I will apologize to Zach, but I called and I told Ted about it too. I called Nolan unranked on his rankings. Here's how I view rankings. If you don't have a number next to your name, you're not ranked.
Yeah. I understand that part.
And I totally understand the honorable mention because kids do, he said, there's still state placers or whatever that are on honorable mention. Totally get it. I get it. And, and I'm sure that there are parents that are like, I got to have, why isn't my kid on this? I totally understand all of that stuff. I'm also a believer that there shouldn't be a 1st through 8th place. I think there should be 1st through 3rd. If you didn't place any higher than 1st through 3rd, tough luck. Here's a pink ribbon.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at.
Right.
So I had a revelation, and I told you about this revelation, I think, when I talked to Max Askren, because I was talking about soccer coaching and how coaching has evolved in the state with wrestling and stuff. And I was talking about how soccer coaching was going when I was starting to really get into it. And Oshkosh and Nina started bringing in this master coaching thing. And I was like, I sounded like an old fart, right? And then I sat there, I'm like, oh my God, I'm the guy I'm complaining about. Holy, what the flying fuck is going on here? Mind blown. I'm just that old curmudgeon dude, and that's why I say I step away. Max and I were talking about once when you're an athlete and you truly are an athlete, you know when you don't know.
Oh yeah. And
you admit when you don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's why I let you guys do it.
Yeah.
I let Teague and I let you guys do it. And then not only do like I've told everybody, you guys put a lot. I mean, you guys don't just do they made a world team. You look at when they went and wrestled and you see the scores and you see all that stuff and the time that they put into the match. That's the biggest thing. So having something like a Skiba Cook match is awesome because now that sets up for the rest of the season watching both of those guys and seeing where the rankings go, especially with yours and whatever you got going on with your rankings too, Teague.
So yeah, I was just going to clear the air here real quick. Just
to
clarify. But Steve and I do not have any rankings per se. And
okay.
I'll throw that out there because I have helped with some sets of rankings before.
Okay.
And there is so much work that gets put into it.
Right.
And like I would maybe say I thought about doing rankings before, but I realized how much goes into it. And I think Steve and I, when we do our like sectional previews, like all the work's there.
Yeah.
the matter of putting that all into rankings, like, is a whole different story. And I know with my brain, I would end up formulating like a top 100. And I would have like, that's just why, like, I respect what Zach does, not why I respect what other like rankers do. Because to take all that and like to take all this information and put it into a list, and not only that, but keep up with all of the wrestlers in an organized fashion every week, where they're all dropping, how certain teams are doing, how to gauge how they do in a tournament versus a duel. It's just crazy, man. I'm like, and I'm not trying to take away like what Steve and I do, because I mean, if you look at what Steve and I do with all our predictions, like it's kind of like rankings in a sense.
It is,
but it's like it's on a small scale. We do it via like regional or via sectional.
Yeah, but you're covering all of them. Yeah, you're covering 250 teams, man. And you guys, number one, you guys know who the coaches are. If you haven't talked to them already, you know of them or have talked to them before. You know the kids on the team, not just the big names. You know all the kids, and you talk about all the kids, so that way people get a perspective of exactly what is going on with the team, not just they had, this many state returners, and which is important. It's part of the factor. I mean, don't get me wrong, but we're talking scores here, that are being broken down. And you guys are talking about, just information about teams that people don't know, so you guys are filling a void and a gap, and it almost kind of connects with each other, I think, as far as the rankings, because he can put his rankings up. Then you can go and take a look at Teague's listings of the guys on the team, and then you can really start to formulate almost things on your own. And I know Zach is trying to do it so it's easy enough for college recruiters can come and look at information with report cards. And you said this on the first episode, with report cards, what they're getting, in their GPAs and stuff like that. So this isn't just hey, let's talk about wrestling. You're actually trying to help the kids, man. They get noticed and things like that. So it's really, to me, it's more of a passion thing, really. Because you've been dealing with it since you're saying, like, your kid, running around wrestling mats with his mom, and you've been around so many of these coaches and dealing with all these coaches and the teams, and especially, and I don't, please, whoever's listening, don't hate me for saying this, but the lesser known teams, the guys that are in the smaller demographics that, may make a push for some type of a advancement from what they've ever done, so, and that's, to me, is important. It really digs deep into each team, and then you dig even deeper into what maybe the top guys on the teams have done. And I think, to me, that's all encompassing. And then you got fat old me that's just hangs out and talks about wrestling with just a lip, But I think what you guys
with a slew of big names on your show,
right, exactly. But see, then that's the thing. So your knowledge combined with your knowledge, it's like, it makes my brain explode. So it's perfect.
Dude, I was gonna say, like, when you like put me in the same breath as Zach, like, that's a huge compliment. Like, I take it as a big compliment, because what Zach, what you do with your rankings is great, man. Like,
Thank you.
You have all the regionals and sectionals out there. You have all the matches out there. And when I hear you talk about results and whatnot, I'm like, oh, we kind of have that same Rolodex where, like, you bring up a name or a year, and then you just start flipping through and think about
right.
But also, by the way, I mean, Zach and I, we've kind of talked before this. I got a Wisconsin Grappler shirt from winning, what was it, the D2? The D2 place winner challenge.
Nice.
Yeah.
Probably Boston insider knowledge.
I'm going to buy one of those speakers. I'm going to get one of those little speakers you got online there.
I knew Zach and I were really on the same wavelength when a couple of weeks ago you guys were talking about Ultimate Team State.
Yeah.
And Zach, you brought up how Kakana lost to Rapids, and right away Brad's like, all right, I gotta, like, give Teague a call or something, give him a piece of my mind here.
Oh no, I knew it would have been a close match.
And then Zach was just calmly like, he's like, well, no, Rapids could have beat us. Like, I figured that out. Yeah. And that really,
that's why I love
really,
that.
Like, validated, like, the work I was doing.
Oh yeah.
Because, I mean, man, that Ultimate Team State, that was a project. Like, there was a lot of work that went into that.
Holy cow. It's just watching, like, I was telling him about the, you got the spinning wheel. So I was like, man, what the fuck is going on? Where does he get this stuff, man?
Well, see, like, I appreciate that you did it that way, but, like, me being me, I would have just been like, he's gonna tech him. I don't give a shit. It's like I wouldn't have been like, let me give him a chance of 10%. I'd be like,
no, he's done.
There's no way. you gave him a chance at least. And I know they all have a chance, but
they do.
Like,
we're matter-of-fact guys.
Yeah, I would just been like, nah, he's getting tech or pin.
Well, and the guy I was working with, we were talking. It's like, well, theoretically, everyone has a chance to pin the other guy.
Right.
You could put
.001
Clark out there.
Yeah.
Like,
Declan Cook pinned Kellen Wolbert.
Yeah, for
sure.
So
I mean, there you go. Wasn't expecting something like that, but that's a cool factor too. Is that being that I don't know, I'm still gonna call out whatever the fuck I want to call out, and then Zach's gonna be like, "No, dude, no, it's not happening that way." I'm like, "I don't care. That's what I'm putting down. That's what I'm writing down."
That's what I think. So.
And I love that. What was really funny is like I was thinking about all the work that we were doing for all these duels. I'm like, shit, dude, this is pretty tough. And then I hear Zach say, yeah, when I do team rankings, I run hypothetical duels between the teams. I'm like, oh, Zach's doing this like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, so. Well, I got to put him out still. I'm still working, man. It's like, because I like go way too deep into it. Like, I'm like, oh, this guy's got a, win over this guy who's beat this guy. It's like 6 degrees.
Was it in a minute and a half or was it in 20 seconds? How did he do that?
Yeah,
Let me see what he did.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
It's what it's basically become.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, well, they could put this guy in who's, it's just way too many options and I get way too deep into it. And then it's just like, I don't know. I just need to go coach this team and see what's going on.
This rabbit hole's way too deep for me, man. Yeah. I could see that happening. But I mean, so even Teague, when you do it, I mean, do you sit down and look at, okay, let's say you're looking at 2 teams at once. I mean, do you wind up getting to the point where you're like, holy cow, this is a lot of information. I need to revamp something. Like, have you found yourself retooling it a little bit to kind of make it, I mean...
No, I mean, if you really want to dig deep, there's no easy way around it. The only advice I would have is to do it in moderation. Yeah. Like, when me and the other person helping with Ultimate Team State, he'd like to remain anonymous. I'm not trying to like take credit from anyone, but I did have someone who like we both put in like good equal amount of work on it. We would do max 2 at a time.
Okay.
And then there was one week where he was going on vacation in Florida and we had to do like 16 duels in a week. And we were like almost sick of it after that week.
Oh yeah!
Like,
wow,
it's just so much. Because if you think about it, like when we started off, it was 8 duels per week. That's 112 matches a week that you're looking in depth on. There might be a couple of like, okay, this is a straight up swing match. Okay, like this is a straight up pin, but. Yeah. For the most part, like if you have like an Aquinas versus Nicolay, 2 different division, 2 different corners of the state.
Yep.
That's where you're looking at like, oh, this guy pinned this guy who beat this guy by decision. So you know what? Let's give him a 60% chance of a tech and 40% chance of a mate. Like,
right.
And it's funny because like ultimately, I don't want to say we're pulling the numbers out of our ass because like you're not. We're doing the research to put into it, but I mean, we're trying our best, and then ultimately, then you have the stupid wheel that seems to have a mind of its own, and it creates blowouts or it goes in favor of one team, and it's so funny because even I hated the wheel. It like I want to like get a shirt that says like "Don't leave it up to the wheel" or something like that because it was. But I guess even going on that, sorry, the coffee's kicking in.
No,
but,
dude, that's why we're here. This is why we're doing this, man. This is the best stuff ever, man.
With Podium Winner Palooza, when we did like the individual matches, that one was tough because like you really want to look at all the results, and I love looking at track results, but even then it becomes because it's 56 matches, but that's different than Ultimate Team saying that it's mostly kids of all the same ability level. Like
pretty much.
I know I'm going to move Grayson Clark onto the next round. I know I'm going to move Clayton Whiting onto the next round.
Right.
But 90% of those matches was digging really deep. And then ultimately it's basically going to come down to a coin flip. Like that's essentially what it is. I was going to say another thing on Ultimate Team State too, was a lot of the work was like the seeding.
Okay.
Because there is no perfect way to seed 32 teams that are all pretty solid.
Yeah. So, right. Yeah. I think the wheel, leaving it up to caution with whatever it does. I mean, it makes it fun though. I mean, you're adding an element of unknown. It's not like I could have walked up into Hortonville Nina last night and been like, yeah, Hortonville's winning, because but that's where you guys have the information. So that I think to me, it's valuable, and I think it's a benefit to the kids. Like I said, with Zach is what he's trying to do, but it also helps Zach also with what he does with what you do, because there's information he may not know about some of these guys. So he's going to listen to your stuff and be able to, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go check this out now. I'm going to go see what this guy's got going on. So with that information and not just kind of signaling out, I guess, certain teams or wrestlers and focusing, you got it, that, like I said, it's a whole encompassing focus. So when you do your information, Teague, you're talking about track wrestling, things like that. You have contact with the coaches though too, where you can ask them questions. And Zach, do you do the same? I mean, do you contact coaches?
Mostly coaches contact me mostly. Like,
do they?
Because they want their wrestlers,
to
get the recognition that they deserve.
That they deserve, right?
So
okay.
I've had a lot of coaches reach out to me, and especially after I asked for help with the women's part, like I've got a lot of people helping me out there because I don't know a lot about it, and I'm trying to. But
I know a good contact for
women's wrestling are great resources.
Yeah.
Like they are awesome.
Yes, and that's so like the biggest one that I know of is Joy Torres.
Yeah,
I mean
he helped me out with a college signing list I was putting together because I had only like 2, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I
don't know, dude.
Tell me, please." I was like, so he gave me like probably 12 just off the top of his head, and then he came back and
Torres is the one that takes a group of girls over to overseas as well. I know he was talking to me a little bit about that past couple of years because it was actually kind of when the girls thing was really starting to ramp up, and he was really the only guy that was running at I'm sure I'll get corrected, but at that point a bigger portion of a club that had just girls.
Yeah.
I think he had like 10 of them at the time, and then it just kept building and building. And now I want to think he's probably one of the top coaches for girls in the state right now.
Oh, I mean, for as much knowledge as he had just right off the top of his dome, it was crazy.
Good dude.
So
when you put your stuff together, are you spreadsheeting it? Do you have like equations? Like I'm imagining. So you remember in a what was that movie? A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
Where he's writing all
my
this
wife
stuff.
thinks it is, but
I
have what I do is I put everybody's name on like just a numbers thing for my Mac,
Yep.
And so I put it on there, and I have like probably, I mean, of the rows you guys actually see, there's probably like 30 other people down below that are just like I have all the stuff for them too.
Wow.
They're just like.
Mm-hmm.
So can you punch a number in and then it automatically bumps them up? Do you have equations like that?
No, I gotta.
You gotta move it all yourself.
Yeah. I'm not like one of those guys that knows all those shortcuts on Excel and
Excel
everything.
wizard. No.
Yeah, my wife knows all that, but I couldn't get her to. Not that I didn't ask, but I don't want to have her have to do all that stuff, So
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, because when I first started doing it, I didn't know how to post it to my own. Like she's the tech person in the.
When you first started doing it, you're like 8. I don't think Excel existed.
No, but I'm talking about like the Wisconsin Grappler.
Oh,
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
oh, okay, sure.
It was
yeah.
Like I didn't even know how to post it or do my own Instagram posts.
Wow,
it was really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt like a 90-year-old. It was bad. I was just like,
how do you do
Can
this?
you do all this? And she's like, okay, we're gonna have to learn how to do this. I can't have like a second. Like a second job where I don't get paid anything.
Should I take you by the hand and be like, come on, I'll show you.
Yeah, so I finally got all that down.
So you're doing organic as well. Huh? You're kind of growing organically.
Oh, yeah.
You're just doing your thing and just kind of putting something out there.
Yeah, I almost got like.
Well, Zach, I gotta say, you figured out your Canva game pretty well.
Oh yeah, that was her.
Your graphics, right?
Yeah,
that was
her.
his lady friend.
Yeah, that was my wife. So she's
the lady friend.
That's his lady friend.
You
yeah,
can't be putting it out like that because she does listen.
She does.
It's not my lady friend. It's my wife.
It's his lady wife.
Yeah,
it's his lady wife. Well, we gotta have pronouns now, right?
Yeah,
we're gonna figure out who everybody is. He, she, it, them.
I'm pretty sure she.
Hey, we don't need to jump down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know.
This
if
is not supposed to be a normal show, guys. Yeah. Seriously,
for sure.
Come on, man. All right.
So back to Cook.
And Skiba. in my eyes, like I think I was saying earlier, I think that it's going to be the duel, or not the duel, but the match of the year. In my eyes, until it changes, but that's going to stay for me. Just because I guess I a little more personally invested with Skiba, just because I know the kid, known him forever. I'm really proud of him. I'm glad that he got that. Do I feel bad for Cook? Yeah, but lumps are going to happen. Liam's going to get his own lumps, man. I'm guaranteeing you, he's not going undefeated this year. Do I want him to? Hell yeah, I do.
I don't know of any freshmen in Kokana's schedule that's went undefeated.
Am I realistic? Yes, I'm realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get through the Christmas tournament undefeated as a freshman,
and then the cheesehead after that.
So simple tournaments,
Yeah,
it's
pretty easy.
cakewalks. So with that being said, what other duels happened like the last couple nights? What do you guys got down?
I mean, I just saw a couple like small tournaments. Like a lot of people are doing keeping with the
scrimmage,
triangular or whatever you call it, like
the tri-duel.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing that to free up events. The way that the WIA, it used to be
the loophole.
Yeah, it used to be 7-7 tournaments and duels.
Okay,
but now they've said it's just 14 events.
Just 14.
Yeah,
Doesn't
so you
matter.
could have all your duels that you have to do with your conference as triple duels. And then
you're freeing up time.
Yeah, you could actually do duels with people that you want to do, like not your conference every time. You know?
So it's just one event.
Yeah.
So it's not like you just wrestled 2 duels in a night. That counts as 2 events.
Right, that would have been a tournament before.
Yeah.
But now it's just an event.
What consists of a tournament? 4 or more?
No, I'm saying like
it's just an event.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Now it's just an event now.
Okay.
Before it used to be 7-7 duels and tournaments. But like that triple duel would be considered a tournament.
A tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. That's interesting. I mean, so again, I bought the rule book, and clearly I haven't been reading too much.
That was last year, I believe.
I'll say I did see a little bit. I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so with that being said, what we have coming is what's going on tonight for duels.
I'm really interested in McWanago versus Oconomowoc.
Okay. Oh, that'll be a hot one.
The only tough thing with that one, I'm still excited for it, but I think Wolbert's out for that one, and then Yauk hurt himself.
He hurt himself.
Jaden?
This episode's not coming out today, right?
No. This isn't coming out till Sunday.
Yeah,
I'm going to release it on Sunday. Yeah.
Good. I didn't want to.
Spoiler alerts?
Yeah, the coach comes up, like, hold on.
Yeah.
I just listened to this podcast. That'd be crazy.
Wait, hold on. Switch the lineup. Hold on. We want to be even.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So Wolbert's possible. Well, and obviously we'll know once we see the duel.
Are you saying both Wolberts or just
and Yauk?
Because there's Quentin too,
older Wolbert and then Yauk.
Okay.
Yeah. Which
so
hurts Oconomowoc. I think it takes away from the excitement of the duel a little bit. But also, I mean, Oconomowoc is trying to build a program in general, so it gives a couple guys to make a name for themselves too.
Get some exposure.
As a ranker, I don't care about the big names being out. I know what they are.
Yeah.
I'd rather see the
other
backups and the fill-in guys that are going to be important later in the year.
Well, that not only that, but those guys are going to be around longer because most of those guys are going to be underclassmen. So you're going to see them coming up. So that's a nice preview of whatever might be coming up. So
yeah, for sure.
Nice.
So I always enjoy when there's 2 good teams that actually make moves. Like that's what I enjoyed about Neenah and Hortonville because I mean there were a lot of moves that were made. You know, like Ellerman all the way up to 32. Like there's no way he's 32. Well,
and people thought that Wyatt was going to be wrestling Declan too, which that was. I mean, I kind of knew even before you did, kind of thing, but it was just like, nope, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
So
I didn't think it was going to happen.
I made a little comment, just said look for Nolan instead of Wyatt, and I left it at that. But
I had heard that they were trying to get down for Donnybrook anyway. So
that's next weekend, right?
That's this weekend.
Oh, that's this weekend.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why we didn't go any further looking at it because it's too tough.
It's too for the beginning of the year and the amount of practice that most of our kids had into. Yeah. I guess any kid for that matter, really. I mean, it's the first week of season.
Right.
Most of these kids are playing football, baseball, and you're going to go ahead and throw them in the Donnybrook.
Yeah.
It sounds like a really good time.
Yeah.
As an athlete. But,
for sure.
So we had that guy. We had that. Neenah Hortonville, and then this weekend we have Donnybrook coming up. What's going on in the state for tournaments, though?
Oh, real quick, duel wise, a quad that I'm excited for. Well, I guess there's at the Freedom Quad. Freedom and Chilton Hilbert are going to take each other on.
Oh, nice.
I think it's a good little preview for Chilton Hilbert, who's moving into that Northeast.
And Brad Baker taking over as head coach too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. First appearance for him. Great dude, by the way.
Love Brad.
I mean, Freedom,
storied program anyways. You know, storied program anyways out of Freedom. You know, what was his name? Went to the Olympics. Lowney.
Yeah.
Lowney going there, you know, stuff like that. I mean,
Conrad.
Yep, Conrad. Yeah, Conrad's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
I actually had to. I didn't have the pleasure of wrestling against Lowney, but I watched him wrestle, and man, Talk about a shoot type image type guy, man. Just a huge guy. He would. I mean, he was a thrower. Greco he did well in, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was his gig. Man, that guy could throw dudes. Holy cow.
If there's a must watch, like if I had to like say this event's appointment viewing tonight, I would say overall, like there's events where there's like good duels here and there, but the quad it's in O'Connell Falls between Shiocton, Wrightstown, Crandon, and O'Connell Falls.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's going to be fun, man. I mean, Shiocton and Crandon, that's a potential team sectional preview, depending on how they do.
Yeah.
You have O'Connell Falls, who's returning a good amount of starters. Wrightstown is going to Wrightstown, right? They're always going to have a good team. And,
so I have a question. Do you guys know, does O'Connell Falls doesn't have a girls team, right? Whiting's going to be wrestling with the boys, right?
They don't. Everybody technically has a girls team, but it's not a designated, But
really,
if you have a girl, it's a girls team. Like
okay,
yeah,
okay.
So everybody technically has a girls team,
but they'll most likely with the low numbers be competing with the boys.
Yeah.
So then Whiting will be wrestling for O'Connell Falls then.
Yeah, there's not too many. I don't know. I haven't really done research, so I could be speaking out my ass. But I don't think there's too many all-girl tournaments every weekend. I
don't know if number one the teams up there how many hold enough girls just to have a girls team.
Right.
So that's why I'm kind of curious. You'll see her at like 106. No, bigger 113 maybe.
Okay.
Possibly.
I'm gonna check out Falls' lineup here.
Yeah.
Yep.
The pinch lineup or like the what they?
Oh yeah, the
pinch lineup. Yeah. And again, whenever I make a guess, it's all speculation. Okay. I don't have as much knowledge as you guys. I'm just guessing off things that I see in the practice room.
Another team I'm looking forward to seeing is Muskego. Like they're not really wrestling anybody too tough. I think they're
Muskego, really?
Yeah, I think they're going to be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What regional are they in?
Oh man, I think E. I'm not sure.
Waiting for Teague on that one, but he's searching.
Oh, I was gonna say I think I want to say G.
Okay. Okay. Close enough. You guess away. That's fine. You were looking at stuff, and I bothered you.
Check. I should know this. I did the.
Well, you can't hold it all in one place, man, except for your computer. So.
D1 sectional G.
G. Gotcha. G for Genrich.
Yep. But sorry, Zach. Who are they going against tonight?
I think it's the Waukesha. I just had it up. I can't find it now. Yeah, Waukesha North and West.
I'll pull up track over here. See, people, this is the joys of being in a podcast, number one, where you have computers, and then you have guys who know how to go through the computer and look for stuff. We want to find and make sure that we're giving you something factual.
Yeah. Yeah, they're at the Classic 8 Triangular. This is where they're at. So.
Yeah. That's so there. I remember listening to someone talking about how there are hotbeds all over the state.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true. There are hotbeds. I mean, obviously, that's more or less created by demographic, though. More or less, like as far as where you live and how many people are in the area. So it doesn't necessarily mean that hotbed is always going to be that hotbed, which is true for just about anything. But with these hotbeds, do you guys notice trends of teams that one team starts to climb way beyond another team and it never really leaves? And I guess I could talk about like a Stoughton, or I could talk. I'm not going to talk about Kaukauna because then it just looks weird. Like a Stoughton, because of, like I've told everybody, after a while I shut myself off from wrestling, didn't pay attention to what was going on. Over the past decade, do you guys know, off the top of your heads, I know you guys didn't put this down on paper, the past decade, have the top teams changed a lot over the past 10 years?
I wouldn't think so.
You don't think so?
I've only been here, this is my 9th year. So,
yep.
But like going to Team State every year, it's kind of the same thing.
And that's by population, though, I would assume, right? You're going to have a team's got it's a bigger town, has more kids available.
Or they got an Askren club by them.
That's right next door, correct. So I call that luck.
Germantown, and I feel like Germantown's coming up because most of their kids are going to Askren.
Yeah, and I call that luck because you take all that away,
right?
And I think teams are going to be kind of
Yeah.
Because everybody's got the
they
same.
They limit you so much in what you can do as a coach in the off season.
Correct.
So it's not really on the coaches right now. It's WIA is limiting what you can do.
I agree. And I think it's the craziest thing on the planet because it's not like, okay, so you think of NCAAs, coaches can't contact certain kids and that I get, but why on the God's green earth can't they just practice all year and have their coach practicing with them?
It's unfair. Not all coaches do that.
Yeah.
But that's what they're saying. It's unfair. They get paid $4,000 or whatever they get paid. It doesn't.
Yeah, for the year.
Whatever you want to do with that time. If you want to work for an hour and put so much time in, you should have the right to do that.
It's just high school wrestling.
Yeah.
We're not talking about developing
we're not
world
giving NIL
athletes
money out to people like,
right?
Here, come here.
Right.
We wrestle all the time, man. We'll give you this.
Right. And granted, I know coaches have a hard enough time right now just getting kids to come in general on the high school level. I mean, it's hard. So it kind of probably meshes together, kids not showing up and coaches just can't do it kind of thing. But to me, it seems like there are more kids than not that would want to do something all year with their team.
Well, in Indiana, they had a moratorium week. And you could just not have contact with your kids for 1 week.
1 week. I get it.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not like we made anything mandatory in Indiana.
Right.
But kids always came, and it wasn't like I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's like
I think what it would do is it would open the floodgates and the transfers. Because you got coaches that are around all the time.
That one coach is going to get those kids that want to have a coach that does that, and they're just going to start.
They want to have a coach all year round, and
then don't have championship teams.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Because that's crazy. Where the kids are going, right, Teague? I mean, you see kids all the time. It doesn't matter if you're here in the Fox Valley, down south, or up north. I mean, if the kids really, really, really like the sport that they're in, they're going to gravitate towards the one.
They're going to gravitate to, yeah.
That's good. So that kind of brings me up with the whole Bo Bassett type thing. When they transferred, they said that his dad was like poaching kids.
Yeah.
Now his dad coaches a team.
Yeah, his dad coaches
outside of the
school. He has practice partners at a club that he probably likes. That we're like, where are you going?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go there too.
Yeah. So, I mean, at some point, kids want to do these things themselves. And I know that there are rules where you can't just have kids flooding and otherwise there'd be kids everywhere. So I get that. But when it comes down to a certain point where can you draw the line about loving a sport enough where you're doing so much, but then it is also being perceived as pulling kids from another team? Maybe you're just that good. Maybe your coaching style is just that good. Maybe your team's that good. I know when I played soccer, I didn't want to play for a sucky team. I wanted to play for a good team. I was a kid. That's what kids think. That's how they see it. Then the parents hear what their kids want to do. Then the parents are the ones who have to make the moves. Why do the kids have to pay the price for that? Yeah. We create some type of prosecution for the parents and put them on detention. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And I know that there are people that break rules, but people break laws every day. And there's sanctions for that. There are things that you get fined, you get put in jail, your probation.
If you're willing to take the risk of speeding.
Correct.
It's the same, in theory,
Right. Everybody's trying to get a leg up in this world, and every parent is trying to get their kid a leg up. And unfortunately, every parent tries to cater to their kid for the most part. I think nowadays it's a little weird. Mm-hmm. But with this whole transfer thing and not, coaches can't touch it, especially in high school. Do you guys, especially with what you guys look at and talk about with coaches, do you notice that there are any kind of and you don't have to name names. Are there coaches that are like, oh God, I hope we beat the crap out of those guys this year, and they took this guy. I know one coach in particular that's thinking that, but do you guys ever notice that just talking to coaches as far as there's no way we're losing these guys. We just got these guys and we're going to beat them because they took this guy from us kind of thing. Do you notice that at all?
Where coaches are trying to beat a certain coach because they happen to bring good guys in.
Yep.
Without naming names, I can certainly think of a few examples.
Yeah. Well, just college-wise, I can think of people used to piss Simone about Iowa all the time because that's they won all the time.
That's the thing about the big thing about the Wyoming coach. I don't know if you've been paying attention to this, but that Stephen Buchanan. Yeah. The Wyoming coach is being very vocal about this because he's like, we just can't compete. People are with this NIL stuff. It's just
ooh.
Yeah, and they do. I'm not saying Buchanan wasn't good when he was here.
Yeah, right,
really good, but they've obviously developed a little bit of that. He's a beast.
Yeah, yep. He's got 2 years left, right?
Yeah, he's got 2. So, that's the thing. That's such a weird thing. Like, you're telling me the way Berwick did it, where he let his team know he was leaving in June, and even though it was like a week or whatever too late, like, but this guy can transfer a semester if he wanted to.
Yeah, whenever.
So crazy.
And that's and so not knowing NCAA transfer like rules and stuff like that. Obviously, they have to get the okay. You have to get the okay.
Portal now. Portal's opened so much stuff up.
But you don't have to get the okay from NCAA. I mean, like, you have to meet certain requirements, don't you? Like a certain amount of time at a school or time frame, thing like that. Or you could just hop on campus, be like, this cafeteria sucks. Transferring.
Don't like it. Put me in the portal.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a free agent market. Like now, like it's like you're playing fantasy football. You're like, oh, that guy's on the list. Let me go see if I can get him.
So I heard something too, that someone was being told that that some athletes, not someone, some athletes are being told by coaches, hey, enter the transfer portal so we can pick you up. We got this deal. We'll guarantee you this much money. Oh yeah. And then I think I asked this on one of the episodes. Now you enter the transfer portal, and then they're like, oh, we found someone else. Are you serious? Like, you're kind of messing with kids' lives again. You know, like, these guys are making big decisions leaving high school, number one, but now you're expecting them to make business decisions.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm all for NIL.
It's scary, dude.
Yeah, I'm all for NIL because these schools are making money off the kids. So the kids do need to pay off somewhere. They got to, and the way I saw it is, if they're going to give it out, I saw it as give it to the school, not to them, but under the kid's name, so it pays for books. It pays for their whatever they need to besides what the athletics is paying for and the school's already doing for scholarships. Yeah. Afford the rest of the stuff. Put the money in like a CD that's set up either by the parents, whatever it is, so that way the kids can't just have free reign of money. Correct. It's their money. It's in their name. But look at what you do with other stuff for kids. Like, they can't touch certain things till they're 25 or, things like that.
It's no different than that.
The NCAA, it seems like when this all happened, they just like, okay, you guys want it? Here you go. Yeah. Have fun. And now we're dealing with the wild, wild west of who's going to go where and get the most money. Yeah. Now it's turned into professional wrestling.
Pretty much.
It's not amateur anymore. Again, I totally think these kids should be getting paid with the amount of money that these colleges are making. But holy man, it's getting crazy out there. Yeah. It's getting crazy.
I also like NIL because we're finally getting a college football video game after 10 years. Yeah, so I'm excited in that.
I used to do that so much, like the recruiting part of that. I would just simulate the whole season and just recruit. Like,
on playing football off of Madden, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
I have so many simulated seasons on like College Hoops 2K8. Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous.
Can we do it more with Tecmo Bowl than with Madden? Can we take Tecmo Bowl and do some stuff?
I don't know. That's
a little blocky, Bo Jackson wins every game.
Yeah, can't use Bo Jackson.
Yeah, that was a rule. That's a running rule. If you're any kind of gamer, that's a rule. It's just like you can't use Brady and Moss that 1 year. They're both like 99s. And
all you
gotta do is throw it up, and it's like, okay, we're gonna go run all goes, all game.
All game, man. You ain't stopping it. Yeah. You ain't stopping it. Bo's just gonna throw that stiff arm out, and he's gonna make his way to the end zone. So, all right, back on Wisconsin wrestling. See, it's easy. I like it when we can go off track, but then bring it back again because I mean, people like the stories from what I've been told. Yeah, people like to hear the little stories on the side. You know, we can be factual all we want and talk about numbers and like, hey, we really like the stories you guys are telling. So I'm just gonna start making shit up too, and people won't even know it's real. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
Guess what was real on today's show?
Today's episode. What was that? Real or not? Yeah, we'll call it real or not. So we have some decent duels coming up that you guys are gonna be watching. I guess you call them mini tournaments, little tri duels, stuff like that. Are those? So speaking of all of this, what schools are still live streaming? Hortonville, obviously, but who else is still live streaming since the pandemic kind of stuff ended?
Yeah, Evansville still has their own setup.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if Kakana
they got their own commentary and everything.
I'd really like to do that for Kakana.
Yeah.
Set something up with that because
Holman has it.
Yeah.
Do they have guys that announce too?
Me. Yeah.
So I can't take that job. Teague's got that. Hey, you just landed a big one too. Are you can you say anything about it? Don't say anything if you can't.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm
dude, you're gonna kill it. Fuck that.
gonna be doing the Garden State Grapple on Big 10 Plus.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty sweet. So now I'm probably gonna pay $80 for Big 10 Plus to watch that, because that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's basically like it's Big 10 teams versus I forgot what the other conference. It's like the EIWC or something like that.
EIW
is it like Lehigh and all them?
Wisconsin's there, Rutgers there. I know Binghamton is one of the teams.
Oh yeah.
Drexel is in the conference too, I believe.
Damn, the old DeSanto school. Don't mind me.
Yeah, man. There's but it's just like 2 or 3 rounds of duels. It runs from 2 to 6, and yeah, Big 10 versus EIWA. That's the conference.
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations on that, by the way. That's pretty cool.
So it's Penn, Drexel, Princeton, and Binghamton, and then it's Indiana, Rutgers, Wisconsin, and Michigan State.
So are
that'd be cool though,
because you pulled it up on Team USA. Are any college events USA Wrestling events?
I don't think they can be.
They can't combine. They can't be intertwined.
No.
I don't know legalities with this stuff.
Yeah, they can pull it. I mean, they can obviously endorse it.
Say, now it's just the same thing with me. I can announce that Flow is going to be live in 5 minutes or something too,
Yeah,
but
it's the same thing.
Because it's them. But okay, so with the duels, so now let's talk a little bit more about rankings. Let's kind of when you guys sit down, especially at the end of the year, and you have all this data, state tournaments, stats. Do you do a breakdown at the end of the year?
What do you mean a breakdown?
I don't know. Do you have a breakdown as far as teams? Are you going to do teams ever? Are you going to kind of break down teams and figure out, or are you just going to stick with individual and weights?
I mean, I'll do teams eventually. Like I said, I'm just working on it, and it's like a lot of like the team players. Like I'll use like Nina as an example. Like I didn't know what they were going to do once it got past Novak. Like I knew Gas was going to be 82 or 95.
Yep.
Other than that, I had no clue.
Okay.
How they were going to do it.
Okay. So when you're and obviously you can't go to every duel. What do you get more out of when you go to an event? Is there something more that you get from going to an actual event and watching them, or do you get more from just getting it off the computer?
I get more from going to an event, obviously.
Why?
I look at, as a person that's been around a good team a lot, like my team in Indiana, we were really good.
Yeah.
The team I'm on now is really good. So it's like, I like to see how the teams interact and stuff. And if somebody, like, let's say Skiba, it's
Skiba. You got it. I think I burned it in everybody's brain now. It's fine.
Okay. So Skiba, like when he won, I've seen teams that just be like
golf clapping.
Like good job,
okay, won again.
But when you can go and you watch how they interact with each other, like they're really got each other's backs. It's pretty cool to see.
That is. So that adds an element to kind of, I guess, the way you kind of report it then too. It feels a little more exciting.
It doesn't have anything directly to do with my rankings, but team it would.
So as a person, I mean, obviously you're like, oh, it's sweet.
Oh
sweet.
yeah, I love to see. I know wrestling is an individual sport, but I love the team. I would love it if it was just team everything.
Once I got Liam on the duels, man.
Yeah.
And once he was doing duels, he was more into it than ever.
Yeah.
Because he didn't feel so alone.
Right.
Like just wrestling by yourself at a tournament with his dad standing in the corner yelling at him, telling him just to get up from the bottom. Like, really? But Teague, so when you do the things that you do, I mean, you're with 250 teams, how many duels do you think you make it to?
I mean, duel wise, I'm like with Holman most of the year, but
yeah.
I mean, tournament wise, I try to get a good variety in.
Okay.
Like last year, I spent a couple weeks on the west side of the state. Like I did, I do the Husky, which that's an hour and a half away from me. I'm not going to miss that event with all the teams that are there.
Right.
Yeah, we're there this year, right?
Yeah.
The Husky?
Kakana, Arrowhead, Holman.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then you got Simile and Lakeville North.
Well, Simile's going to that one too?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
We'll see Simile 3 times. We'll see Simile 3 times this year.
Great.
Yeah, so you'll get really used to Travis Smith or whoever the 60-pounder is. Yay! Oh, it's all right.
It's good.
Just don't touch him. You'll be fine.
Don't touch him?
Yeah, he's a Greco guy. So.
God. Here we go. We're going to talk to Lucas about that one then, because see what's going on with that whole situation. But no. So, Teague, you make it to a lot of events, but at the same time, The events that you do go to, you do announce at though, right?
Yeah, and some of them, like the Husky, I do all day.
Wow.
Last year, there's a couple where I just did the finals, but like I said last time I was on, like I'm just a wrestling fan in general, so like I'm not driving there just showing up for the finals. Like I'm gonna go there and watch wrestling. And when I went to the Cutler Classic in New London last year, like I tried to talk to a lot of people. Like Brett Bach and I talked wrestling for like 5 or 6 hours, throughout the day, and just interacting and watching wrestling and getting to know the kids. And in terms of like looking at stuff analytically, I just think Zach could agree. The eye test is so much more important than looking at, I would say in order of importance, there's like the eye test where you actually see the kids wrestle, the box score, which if you like go really in depth, go to a tournament, click on like the bout number and stuff. And then like just looking at straight track results, because dude, the one thing I learned with Ultimate Team State, there can be so much context that goes into every single match that like there's like a different story with each match essentially.
Okay.
Because when I'm doing the Holman duels, or I was doing like the duels with the other guy, like where his team was in it, there can always be like, oh, well, this guy like was having a really good day this day. Like this was his best tournament, or like he was sick this day or whatnot. Like, there's context behind every single match. That's why I like actually seeing the match and seeing what's going on. I also like looking at box scores now too, because honestly, pins, unless it's like from a top-notch dude, they don't really mean shit. Like pins can mean any array of things. It could come from a scramble. It could come from, like, for example, at Team State last year, Peter Kupta of Coleman was losing to a Fenimore kid. It was like 18-8. Yeah, but he pinned him. If I was just looking on track and I saw that he pinned him, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's not even a match. But I saw like, oh, he was losing by 10 when he pinned this kid. So I need to like favor this kid a little more. It's
an interesting thing you bring up, especially going to the live events. Like you don't know if a kid was sick. Right. You don't know the storyline behind it until you find out like 5, 6, 7 days later or whatever. But
if you're there, you can kind of tell.
You can tell. Like you can, if you do rankings or things like you guys do, you could probably walk up to Genrich and be like, hey, what's his name? And then he'll tell you. Oh, yeah. And he'll know you'll put it on later on or whatever, but at least, you guys get that info firsthand from there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know if and I don't know too many other guys that do that.
Yeah. I do that for everything. Like if I see a strange result, I'm like,
wait a minute.
And then also as the coaching part, like what I start realizing is
that's right. Like, you guys both coach.
Yeah. So when you
still coach,
when you go to it, like you see a kid lose, he's lost like 7 times, Yeah. You go and look at his results, and all of them are pins, So you're like, you get this guy on a grind match, he's going to give up and give you 6 where you shouldn't get 6.
That was one thing we always looked at going to like national tournaments and stuff too. You see these monsters, these kids that are just killing everyone, and then all of a sudden they got that one match against that dude that they knew was going to be all right, but like, I'll still beat him pretty handily. And then they're like halfway through the second period, they can't breathe. And you're like, uh-oh.
This is why he gets pinned in the
yeah, right, exactly. Like, holy cow. So that's, and to me, I wish I work second shift.
Yeah.
So I get screwed now. I don't get to go see a lot of duels. I get to go see Liam's duels. I get to leave work. And then, so I punch out, I go watch the duels. And then once the duel's done or whatever, kind of talk to some people, then go back to work. So
like personal time? Or...
I literally told them I wouldn't take the position unless I was allowed to leave for my kids' wrestling. Okay. I straight up told them that. I said, all I'm going to be doing is I'm bringing in the wrestling calendar, and I'm going to show you the Fridays I need off, and I'm going to show you the Thursdays and the times that he has his duel. Yeah. I said, granted, JV starts at 6:15, I think it is usually. I said, but there's one that's at 5. I said, I'm leaving for all of them.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we still want you to run the plant. Okay, cool. As long as you understand. But you guys... Number one, I think it's cool that you get contacted by coaches. Like they want you guys to have that information to be like you said. They want their kids to get the recognition that they deserve. Every kid deserves it.
Yeah,
every kid does. And like I said before, when you're being ranked, if you don't have a number next to your name, you just work a little harder. You know what I'm saying? Honorable mention may give them that bump and may give them that vote of confidence in their head, like I'm right there, I'm right at the edge, kind of thing.
Right. Can I get in on that?
Yeah, go for it.
The thing I was, when you were like honorable mention, I was like, well, see, I made my top 10. Like, I didn't want to do, I mean, I could easily do 1 through 20.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to mean something.
Sure. Yeah.
And like you say, you want the number.
Mm-hmm.
But like, would it be different if I did it till 20? Would you say he's ranked if he's at a 20?
He's got a number next to him.
See, that's just crazy.
He's got a number next to him.
He has a number next to him. It's just a watch list.
You happen to rank the top 20.
Yeah.
And he make 20. Now, if you do the top 10 and the kid's not in the top 10, then he's not ranked in that ranking.
This is crazy to me. Like, my brain doesn't work like that.
I'm old.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
To me, I'm like, it's the same thing.
When we first started doing this wrestling thing, and we go to these tournaments where it was first were local ones. You get your first, second, third, fourth place, right? Because it's usually 4-man brackets. Why you can have more than that. So then we started going to these national tournaments, like the Badgerland National, stuff like that the kids go to. And someone was saying, oh, they have medals out to like 6th place or something like that, or 8th place. I'm like, they have medals out to what? Like, yeah, they can get a medal at 6th place. I'm like, these kids are walking away with medals all the time, man. Like, and I know that, again, here we go with the money thing. You're trying to draw kids in. You want kids to come to your tournament and all that other stuff. But it's like, when did the act of winning become honorable? Like, or unhonorable, I should say. When did the act of winning become unhonorable where you can get a medal anytime you want? Now, again, I sound old school, but I had to earn my shit. I had to earn my, it's not that these kids don't have to earn it, but it's like, you're just getting a medal now for coming and showing up. Thanks for paying your $60 and the $30 for parking. Yeah. Here's your medal. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I understand I told Zach, we had kind of a spat. It was kind of like a lover's quarrel a little bit, but I was kind of like, cause I put the post up about Nolan being unranked, and I was like, I wasn't trying to like insult you, dude. Like,
no,
it's
I know. That's why I just
because I do respect obviously what you guys put into it, and I was like, I think I just pissed Zach off.
You wouldn't know if you pissed me off.
No, right.
I just came at you like, so where's the unranked? I have him watch list,
And that's why I was like, watch list, WL. What are you watching?
Yeah, watching him go up to whatever he's going to be in the next one.
So speaking of that, have you?
Hey, I got to say something real quick.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, jump in whenever.
It was just funny because you brought up Badgerland Nationals. And like, honestly, whenever I hear like a tournament with the name Nationals in it now, I think of like the Dr. Evil air quotes meme where it's like Nationals. There's so many tournaments with the name National now. It's like, okay, let's figure things out here. How national is this tournament? My old teammate, he went to Corn Cob Nationals. Yeah.
Like, we're going to go down that rabbit hole right now. We're going to hit that rabbit hole.
He pinned like 3 kids in like under 5 minutes, and he was great. He was a state champion, but like, it's not like he was going to be a D1 college all-star or anything. Right. Like we got to figure out where to draw the line with calling tournaments national.
Yeah, what you think a national tournament champion should look like is maybe 1% of them look like.
You got to pay Twitter to have the blue check mark.
Yeah, I'll never have that.
Well, the official Zach Pearson.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we make people pay to put? So I started a tournament with another coach and another coach. Those coaches never got together at some point, so I was the tie that binded them.
Yeah.
I got this tournament going. We called it Sawdust City Slam. Yeah. First. That was the first year. And I was like, Sawdust City Slam, I was like, we're not going to really draw many kids from like other states. We're going to have the kids from Wisconsin, which that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get those guys exposed to other kids. And we talked about it. Like, we literally talked about whether or not we wanted to call it nationals or not.
Yeah.
And we had the same conversation because there's so many other tournaments, track wrestling or whatever was that, track wrestling nationals at one point.
Yeah.
And now it's something else. Now it's battle by the border. Yeah. So with that being said, I said, if people ask me, I'm going to tell them we don't consider it a truly national tournament yet. We're trying to get it to that.
Right.
We want it to be that. Ben Askren was talking about this yesterday. It was on Wrestling Changed My Life, I think it was, on that podcast. And he said something about there aren't, and he's right to this extent, there aren't any true national tournaments out there for middle school and below. And I think he even kind of lumped high school into it a little bit too. But he mentioned Tulsa as being a national tournament. They have a U6 division.
Yeah.
That's not a national tournament to me.
Right. Well, at a certain level it is, but
level, but so is Super 32 is by far superior to that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's a national. He didn't even mention Super 32.
Yeah.
But at least not in the clip I saw. So if he did say it, I apologize. But Super 32 would have been like the top of my brain as far as that's a national tournament.
Oh, yeah.
That's where guys who are ranked are going to find guys who are ranked to beat them. It's a who's number one without being who's number one.
But I think I get what he's saying. He's saying, like, there's not really a thing where you, like a state tournament, where you qualify and qualify and qualify. Like, it's just a money grab at that point. Like,
sure.
But, I mean, there is kind of a qualification for Super 32
early entry.
Yeah, the early entry.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
now they've opened it up.
Yeah.
It used to be where you had to have certain accolades, I think, in order to be able to register for the tournament.
You had to be, like, if you had a four...
It was high school only, I think, too, wasn't it, for a while? Yeah.
You had a top 6 in your state, then the top 4 got the early entry.
Yes. Yep. And it was all high school at one point, like I said. But
yeah, your middle school champ, it doesn't.
Nope.
Qualify you. So.
Well, in Journeyman Classic, Frank, Frank's pretty specific about what he wants for the first day to second day, and he wants guys that have the accolades to be able to compete against each other. Number one, you want someone getting hurt.
Right.
Some of these guys are so high level that some of the lower level guys may not know how to wrestle against them and, wind up getting hurt, or the other guy gets hurt, the good guy gets hurt. So, but Frank was asking, if you won Super 32 as a middle schooler, don't put it down as a high school accolade.
Right.
Because you didn't win high school in Super 32 in high school.
Yeah.
So he's looking for specific things. Super 32 used to be looking for specific things, but now they're so big, like, I don't think it matters that people are going to go to it anyways.
Right.
National tournaments, to me, in my eyes, like you said, a qualifier. And you have to have at least 5 to 6 states show up to your tournament for it to be a national tournament. If you just have your neighboring states, like if it was us, we literally we had Minnesota, Iowa. I think we had like one Iowa kid, Illinois, some Michigan guys from UP, stuff like that come down. I still didn't consider that national as far as I went, as far as my eyes were, because there was all that talk of like, oh, everybody's a national tournament now. Everybody's doing this. Yeah. They call it this. It's a money grab. And I was like, God, I do not want to do that. And now I don't know what the guy's doing with the tournament as far as that goes. I don't know if he's still got it going or not.
Right.
I have no idea. But yeah. So I agree with you guys. I agree with the whole national tournament thing. I think it's a little watered down now. And Ben was right too. I mean, for the most part, what he was saying, he was spot on. He was basically saying that you can't judge these tournaments nowadays and take your kid to be like, he's a national, number 3. And I think one of our relatives, Liam, took 3rd at one of those tournaments or something like that a while back. So he's number 3 in the country. Nope, that's not really how that works. It's a great tournament. It was fun, but he's not nationally ranked. He's not after that one little tournament. No, sorry. But.
I do like your perspective, or like hearing your side of it though, Brad. We're like using the name national to market it, like that makes 100% sense.
It's really all we were trying to do, and that's what people were asking. Like, is this gonna be like this? No, it's just the name right now. That's all it is.
And maybe I'm going off the deep end here, but like in terms of like the marketing, that's totally fine. But like if you're a parent and you're like posting on Facebook about your kid placing at U6 nationals, like go to therapy and figure out what was absent from your life to where you are living through your elementary age child. Oh,
there's one family I can think about think of that in the Fox Valley area right now, where they think that because a lot of these Estonia teams, it's an honor to be able to go on those teams. Number one, it's a privilege for a kid to be able to go over to a foreign country like that. But these parents think that their kids are like selected randomly, like through some kind of box office type picking. And it's like, no, you actually sent a form in. You asked if your child could go. And they said, yeah, go ahead. Here, send us $2,500 and we'll take your kid to Estonia. You weren't selected. You weren't carefully chosen. They're trying to give the kids opportunities, which is odd because Joey was one of them. He started the girls team to take him over there. And actually he was that Estonia tournament. I can't remember, but he was asked by the administrators a while back because one American guy was supposed to be bringing a bunch of girls over and never did. And that's where Joey really started getting the ball rolling with the girls stuff. But now I really lost track where I was going with that, but brain fart. But it's
Yeah.
What's that? It's a name thing. It really is. And that's all of them, you know, like, cause I mentioned in one of the episodes, we went to a duel tournament and they were selling cutlery. They were selling knives. We have children running around. Number one, you have a knife display in the middle of a gym at a wrestling tournament.
Yeah.
Come on, New Way, do better.
I guess to expound on my point too.
Yep.
Like I get it, like posting about your kid and like being proud. Like I guess that's what parents are gonna do. I don't have a kid, you know. Hopefully, I never have a kid.
I don't do that.
They just seem like a lot of work, but
Yeah.
you know, being proud,
they are work,
proud of
Teague.
your kid. Like, yeah, you're being a parent. That's great. But I've seen from a couple of parents. Most people that I see on Facebook are actually pretty good, but like, there's some parents that only post when their kids do good. And there's actually studies that show like your kid gets conditioned to seeing like, oh, mom or dad didn't post about me after this event, so they're disappointed in me.
Oh,
like,
no.
Okay, you gotta, yeah, because that's basically, dude, like social media, just the way it consumes our lives now and people live through it, it's ridiculous. And like,
I cannot
people
believe
do
that
show
shit.
their genuine selves on there, whether they think about it or not. So I don't know. I guess to reel things back in there, like if you're a parent, like if you're gonna post about your kid, like you better do it through the ups and downs. And I'm glad you brought up Joey because like Joey's great with that. Like Karina could get pinned 3 times in a day, and he would find a way to spin it into like the best thing ever, you know,
right.
Whether she has a great day or a bad day, he's going to post about it. Like he's just a good dad. And like, you can tell he's proud of her no matter what.
At the end of the day, that's what it's about. You know, when Liam was little, I know we looked a lot into like the whole wins thing. Like he didn't win this today. He didn't win this, but we were really trying to dissect of what was really going on in his head, of why it didn't happen, because we wanted him to be successful. So I think maybe his first couple of years were like, you got, you know, come on, we're those crazy weird parents. But then I, as an athlete, was like, we can't fucking do this. Like, we can't keep talking to him like this. Like, we can put the pressure on him to wrestle 110%. We can put the pressure on him to put effort forward. We cannot do the pressure of, you need to win this. How did you do so terrible? What the hell is wrong with you? We never did that stuff. And of course, I was probably one of the parents that posted when he did well and a few times and not well. But then I started posting about what he did well in a day.
Sorry if I called you out that now.
No, you're fine, because I did it. That's the thing, is I personally have been, you know, in those instances where I actually sat back and was like, why am I only posting positive shit? You know, like, seriously, like, what is it? And like, now you saying that there's a study done about it. Like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like, we're doing mental damage to our kids by posting stuff on. Yes, because that's all they're on. That's all they're doing.
That's what they're That's where, dude, I joke about it. Like when I post on Facebook, like I'll tell people, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get my free dopamine hit for the week. Like, dude, I went through a point and I had to get over it on the podcast where like, that would be like my favorite thing in the day would be posting a team shout out and then just seeing all the notifications roll in. Like it's a disease. A real thing.
It is. So I think you can kind of slide it to the side a little bit for us, because we're just trying to see who we're getting interaction with. But if you're staying up at 11 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, trying to see how many likes you got on something, that's a problem. That's a serious issue. And like, even paying attention to some comments. I begrudgingly started a Facebook page. I had to start an individual page because of the podcast page. So it makes you do an individual. Mm-hmm. So the first one I created was just some crazy, stupid name. It was like Bocephus McDougal. Yeah. I don't want to be friends with anybody on Facebook. I mean, there's a couple people like Teague. I think I sent one to you, Zach. The people that I want to talk to about wrestling are the people that I'm really only going to be sending friend requests to. Eventually people will find me, but I'm not going to accept it. So it's just one of those things where I did it literally for the business page because of what I just saw happen with the whole monetizing of putting things out and all this other stuff. So I was like, God, I really don't even want to. People know who I am. They know what I'm doing, and they know the things, you know, that I'm talking about. But at the same point, though, too, it's that thing where people live in fear of what's going to be said. And luckily, I've gotten old enough where I don't give a fuck what you talk about me, and I don't care what you say about me. Hey, there's the pooch. What's his name?
Yeah, he's His name's Rumpy. It's short for Rumplemint.
Oh man, that's a rough drink, man. I don't know if I can handle all that. He looks like a good dog. Though, look at me. He's like, hey, where's the beef jerky, dude?
Dude, I got a couple of shelter dogs, and like
nice.
I love them to death, but they are emotionally high maintenance. Let me tell ya.
So I used to breed dogs, and then when I would breed dogs, people would. I got a text from Skiba here. Just wanted to give you some. Comes up your broadcast. Say there was some talk on social media yesterday that they hoped Declan and Wyatt wouldn't abduct each other.
Ducked each other, Jesus Christ.
Or wouldn't duck each other. There was no ducking by either of them. Wyatt went down to 113 because that's where his skin folded, and he was going to be wrestling there for the Donnybrook Dan Gable invite. So it didn't make sense to weigh in, and I think you actually explained this to me. Yeah. So it didn't make sense to weigh in.
If he would have had to wrestle a Cook, he would have had to weigh
a half pound over.
Would have been like a little bit more than that, probably like 0.6.
Yeah, a half pound over 113 to have to cut it for the tournaments and to wrestle up to 120 for the duel. I don't believe that Declan was trying to duck anyone or Wyatt. Yeah. He just had more weight to get down.
Yeah, it's just stupid. I can't stand people on
this
social media.
This is the worst. And see, this is what happens with, and not to bring you guys down, but this is what happens with rankings.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the kids getting involved. It's the retarded adults that are involved in it that put so much at stake and so much into these readings. It's fun. You guys make it entertaining because it's for a person to be able to sit around and look at things and kind of, and then he says, hold on. Ted's texting me back. This is awesome. I love this shit.
I don't know.
What did he say here? Oh man. Wow.
He's really going after
the Nolan Declan matchup was a lot tighter than what they believed it would be, I am sure. And I believe it was just as good a matchup to show who Nolan was in his own right. Correct. Who gives a shit who wrestles who? Get off your asses. If you have a problem with it, get off your ass.
First duel of the year.
Of the year? Like, get off your ass and go coach a team then. Let's see. And I believe it was just as good a matchup to show who Nolan was in his own right. Correct. Oh, man, now he's typing more. Whew. And I believe it was just as good a matchup. He's missed going to state last year as a freshman because he wrestled up the state champ and runner-up at his weight class in sectionals. That said, he had 30 wins as a freshman wrestling upper weight class most of the year for the team. Obviously, come on, Ted, you're screwing me up here. Obviously, he wasn't ranked this year, or so it was talked about on social media, but that's okay. Rankings, like I said, are a bunch of guys sitting around the table talking about who they think is better than human matches.
I'm only one guy, though. I don't have a bunch of guys.
You don't. You are one brain, one giant brain. The human matches are what matter, correct. You don't have to mention this in your. I'm going to, Ted. Who cares, man? This is all true.
As we're talking about it,
you don't have to mention this.
No, this is in your podcast at all. I just wanted to give you a little insight to what coaches were thinking, and that's here's the thing. Okay, whether coaches were talking about.
Hang on, I'm gonna let my dog out here, but real quick,
Go ahead.
Give my 2 cents.
Yeah.
One reason Schema might have flown under the radar is the fact that he's behind Corrigan and Peters in a sectional.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah, and that's it.
I mean, if I go by what I said, he's the 11th ranked guy on mine. Like right. If I put a number all the way down,
he is number 11. Yeah.
So like I have number 11 at 26, but I mean, he
could have done anything anywhere within those weights where he's at. He could have done anything because like Ted said, to Nolan's credit, that kid's been working his ass off.
Oh yeah,
he's been wrestling. Like I remember going down to Iowa with those guys, and he was wrestling some weight classes that were. He didn't have to cut weight. He was comfortable. He was living where Wyatt was the one that was like, oh man, I had to drop 5-6 pounds for this. It was hard, and he was skinny already. Yeah. Nolan's put a lot of work in. And for Nolan to get that win is awesome. And I told Ted, I said, hug that kid for me. It was a great win for him. I hope he's living high up the hog, just mentally. I mean, that's a huge boost coming up for the season, especially after your first duel. You got to feel pretty on top of the world. And I would feel on top of the world too. I would be like, this is my year. I'm going to do it. Because now he's going to put even more together in the practice room, knowing what he just did against the top guy, right there as a freshman. Yeah. I as far as rankings go, I'm along with Ted because I'm one of those parents that sits there and is like, oh, kind of wasn't my kid here, but I don't anymore.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't matter. It's for the entertainment, for us to sit around and look at kids and be like, oh man, that's right. He did do this and that. Oh yeah, he did beat this guy. But what if he goes this way? Like you were putting stuff together just kind of, well, he was here last year.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to put him.
until I know further.
Yeah.
But you put it out there, understanding that, hey, things change.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
And as a member of the media, I love rankings too. Like last year, I kind of felt that because I didn't really help out with like any rankings. So I didn't want to like use rankings at all. It's because I'm not doing the work. But now, like, I think I'll probably cite the Wisconsin Grappler and use them when we talk about stuff here, because it makes it so much easier for us, and it gives people a good reference point, especially if they're good rankings. Like, oh, this guy's ranked this high, or like there's number 2 and 3 in the weight class in this bracket. Like, theoretically, that should be a really good bracket. So, being a member of the media, it gives me great talking points and gives me a lot of good reference points to use for people.
Totally.
So,
and then that's going to draw them to watch the match more.
Stuff for Zach. Zach has good stuff for it's I'd say Zach and I have a symbiotic relationship.
You do. It's almost like an intertwining type of relationship with the information that you guys have. Yeah. So I'm going to expound on one last thing that Ted said, and this is the important part. This is what I think a lot of people.
After the Ted thing, I'm going to let my dogs back in.
Okay.
They are on a leash, so
they're not just running around the neighborhood eating garbage with the raccoons right now. Okay.
They're not like cats. Yeah.
Oh. Feral cats. Don't get me started on that. As a coach, you were always looking for the team win and then your individual wrestlers. Parents forget about that. Learning that even more, especially coming into Kaukauna and knowing what the coaching staff does here, they don't care about your kid's record. They do to a certain extent, but they also want to win a duel. So they're going to arrange guys in a fashion like I would imagine how Nino went last year. Yeah. They're going to arrange guys in a fashion that's going to give their team the best opportunity to win.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wanted to see PD versus Shepherd or whatever, the one that we didn't do.
Didn't happen.
Of course, everybody wanted to see that, but why do we have to do that? I'd rather win.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the whole point. It's a duel. It's not an individual national tournament. It's a duel. You want the coaches are paid coaches who want their team to win and want their kids to win at the same time. But if the kid doesn't win, the team doesn't win.
Right.
So I think a lot of people get lost in the fact that they think they know what the fuck they're talking about, and they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm one of them.
I got to get to 7 wins, to have a chance.
Sure.
As a coach, you got to.
Yeah.
Can I get to 7 wins? And then if you can start getting a little bit more separation by moving the lineup around, that's what you do.
Right. And I think it's important too, like you said, the coaches contact you and coaches contact you as well, Teague, that you get that, excuse me, I just kind of belched a little bit, that you get that inside information. You get that this kid's going to be sick this week or, that kind of thing, because then you guys actually understand the coach's view of it, what he's trying to accomplish. Yeah. Not just I'm gonna make sure that this kid makes this weight so we can get butts in the seats at the high school this weekend or this week. It's like, that's not what it's about. These guys are trying to build programs. Like I even said with Kyle Kluskins, dude's a high energy coach. He's a great coach. And I know he took a lot of notes from when he was, hanging out around Machek and stuff, but you have to be in the right environment to create that environment. And the coaches are trying to build those environments. That's their goal. Every coach doesn't just walk into a room thinking, well, I'm just going to coach because, I did this sport for 10 years and this is just kind of what I got left, I don't see a coach in Wisconsin that's like that.
There's way too much time that you have to put into it.
Correct.
To do that. You will not survive in the coaching world if you're just doing it just to do it.
Yeah, showing up with a whistle to kind of blow it and just I got Johnny on the spot over here. I'm going to have him wrestle. What's his name? Because that's what everybody wants to see. That's just, I get really kind of sick, and especially as being an athlete myself, I didn't care who we were playing the next week. I didn't care what the matchup, dude. I don't care if your McDonald's bag makes sound. Open it up. I let people know you're eating shit. Who cares? You chew into the microphone. I don't care. This is free. This is free living podcasting, man. We're trying to hang out. Right now I'm looking at eyeing up a couch for down here, so we can sit at a couch and talk. And then we're not going to get to cigars and joints and stuff like that, like Joe Rogan does. But
I was going to say,
no, we're not going to.
I can do that with my boss listening.
We're not going to do that. But we'll be able to sit down and that way, if we have guests that are here that aren't necessarily part of the podcast, where they can come and hang out. So this is going to become.
Right, dogs are barking.
Yep, that's fine. You got to let them in. So with the whole rankings thing, and we're old fat dudes that are washed up, and even though you All-American last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not washed up yet. This guy.
I'm going to text Ted that right now, so let him know that Zach did All-American last year.
Yeah, I'm still in it.
Zach isn't all that old.
I am fat, but not old.
But I just think it's funny that.
Oh yeah,
that people put so much weight on what you guys do.
Yeah.
And you guys do too, but because you put work into it. So it's not to say that, but
I don't like to be wrong.
So much invested in it, oh man, now he's going to be lower in a rank. So but he did All-American last year.
So washed up, I don't know. I still got a couple headlocks in me. I can show up to a tournament All-American automatically just because there's 5 people there.
He is fat though.
Yes, he is fat. There's no denying that.
And I'm going to tell him, and this was all on the podcast. So, Teague.
Uh-huh.
What do you think is going to, and I've asked other people, I don't know if I asked you this question. Maybe I did ask you this question last time. And someone asked Ben this the other day, but I've been asking it for like a year. How much more can this sport evolve? Other than moves. I mean, other than coming up with new moves. I mean, we've gone from you barely see it in a newspaper back in the day, when newspapers were a thing. I don't know if anybody doesn't know what a newspaper is. It's something that they printed on back in the day. They put black letters on it, and it was in a paper form where you actually had to pick it up and read it. And there are sometimes color pictures in there, but there is barely ever like a tiny segment of an article about wrestling in the sports section. So I would say it was probably maybe the size of my palm. That was about it for wrestling. Obviously now we've grown into this, what we're doing, podcasting, live video, things like that. I mean, we've come a long way as far as the sport. Growing it is going to get bigger. So I'm not going to talk about growing wrestling, but evolving. Can we evolve anymore?
So do you mean like on the mat or like
covering? Yeah, on the mat.
On the mat. Okay. So,
can we mutate more? Can we be more alien?
Like I said, I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm not a wrestling expert by any means. So I'll start off with an example from another sport. So like the NFL used to be like ground and pound, 3-4 yards in a cloud of dust. Right.
It
was all heavy running games, and they introduced the West Coast offense, and then NFL starts taking from college where they have like a spread. They have like a dual threat quarterbacks. Now to succeed in the NFL, there's a few years where like you either need a dual threat quarterback or you need a guy who can sling the ball 50 times a game.
Right? Right.
You're winning off the deep ball essentially. And now we're seeing defenses adapt to where now they're running like a cover 2 shell where they always have 2 guys deep. So now they're forcing teams to either utilize their pass game as like use short slants. You have to run screens. You're not going to beat us downfield. If you're going to beat us, it's going to be a 10-15 play drive.
Yeah.
And you have to work for it.
You have to work for it.
Now we're seeing NFL teams. There was a lot of passing. Now we're seeing a little bit more running because it's having 2 high safeties or having 2 people go cover 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now it kind of opens up the box a little bit where teams can run a little more or they use their receivers on a jet sweep. So now we're kind of seeing a transition back to where it's like a heavier run game.
Yeah.
And I guess, this is just going to kind of be speaking out of my butt here, but we've seen like younger wrestlers are getting better. And I think a lot of that, my assumption would be like scrambling.
Yep.
People are getting really familiar into a scrambling situation.
Yep.
Could we, hypothetically speaking, could we see it where people get so good at scrambling where maybe they get away from upper body ties a little bit? And then at some point, guys who are really fluent in throwing and guys who are really good at Greco, they get to a point where it's like, all these guys are so focused on scrambling, like, why don't we just stick with upper body ties and beat them where they're not familiar with? So, like, is it something where we maybe see a transition back to, like, more Greco, more upper body stuff? And I don't know. That's just hypothetically speaking. That could be the totally wrong answer, but that's, like, one example I could think of.
Sure.
Like, if you're not evolving, then you're going to get beat at some point. Yeah. Like, that's...
But I think that's an interesting point. I think the evolution, for wrestling recently was girls.
Yeah.
To me, that was the big, I mean, obviously what you were talking about with scrambling, what Ben brought to the scene as far as wrestling goes that not everybody was doing. I think they called Jake, on YouTube, it was when he wrestled Jake Herbert. Herbert, or is it A-Bear? Herbert. Jake, it seems French, but when he wrestled him, they called Funk versus Funk.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was different kind of.
Pardon? It's like, no.
Herbert had funk, but it was different.
But I think it's because he was watching Ben.
Yeah.
He was trying to figure out what Ben was doing. So I was like, no, it was funk. He was trying to figure out funk or something like that.
But I think funk was like...
because Herbert was the smash and grab dude. He was that big monster. He wrestled on the mat. He was angry. He had that face.
Had a lot
and
of tricks.
Did he? I guess maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, he had a lot of tricks. Like, yeah, but it was more like a guy like Askren was his kryptonite though, because like what he didn't work against.
Didn't work against him. Right on. Okay. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Thinking back at some of his matches, yeah.
He was just unorthodox, and
right.
That's why they called it funky. But it wasn't funk like to say
it was just
the same breath as Askren.
Slick,
funk,
I guess, just kind of slicker wrestling.
Just had a mat savvy about him,
and then Ben brought his own thing, like, and that to me that was a one evolution that happened, and then now, like I said, with the girls wrestling, the evolution with that, and I think obviously we're a little bit behind the curveball by not having freestyle.
Yeah.
But baby steps, we'll take what we can get, and we appreciate the
freestyle for girls or
for girls
freestyle for all.
For girls,
okay, yeah.
There is an argument for freestyle for all. But that's we're talking to people that probably don't understand freestyle in general as far as how it works and things like that. So I mean, not everybody's into that. But as far as the rest of the evolution goes, I mean,
see, you say evolve. I think that what we do is adapt. Like I don't think that it evolves. It's ever like flowing. Like if you look at what's going on, like now, it's probably what was. I mean, the funk is new.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really been around.
Right.
But if you look at what people are doing that's popular now,
it's
popular in the early 90s, so it's
sure. Yep.
So it's like, it's an
cyclical.
adapting. Yeah, it's adapting to the rules. Like, you know how when they noticed, like in NCAs, they noticed funk's getting out of control. People are just making a long scramble. So then they added the danger rule to
curb that.
To negate the funk.
To curb that.
Yeah. Because some people were just so damn good at it, you couldn't score on them. It wasn't that they were scoring. It was just that they were impossible to score on.
Right. And that they were just waiting for you to try and score on them anyways, because then they were going to base it off of that.
Boring. Yeah. It just gets boring and predictable at that point.
Well, and the way they coach it, it's step by step. And the way Ben talks about it is like, well, step one, I'm going to grab your ankle. I'm going to turn this way. I know you're going to do this or this, and then I'm going to do this. It's like, holy shit, really? You sat down and like dreamed about that? Like, that's insane. Yeah, but that's a whole different level of a wrestler.
Yeah, all he did was just get around and with his brother and just try shit.
Right. Well, I mean,
and notice what works and what works if you do this, what works if you do that. There's just so many different positions he gets into. It's just crazy.
Well, with the style, but then I look at like heavyweights, like how heavyweight has changed. Like these guys are all wrestling like they're 106.
Yeah.
They're getting
no longer the dancing bears.
No, man, no, it's not just the upper body sweaty battle.
I was still bringing it back out there, but
oh god, but yeah, that's kind of where I come with the evolution side of it, because I just think it's interesting, and where I came from as far as wrestling, from mat rats in the basement of Lourdes High School to not knowing any tournaments to having just your local stuff to all these tournaments everywhere. Everybody and their grandma is starting a tournament. Everybody and their grandma is starting a team somewhere, and I started a dual team just to kind of bring some of the kids, because Wisconsin Red was still around. It kind of was, and then it wasn't, and that's why I started the team that I had to keep those kids kind of going. But just going to these tournaments and realizing how much there was, like, I don't know if I would have been interested in wrestling with any sport at that height, being the amount of attention and all the stuff that's given to it now and the pressures. Yeah. So I guess maybe adapting is a better word for what.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously evolution.
Yeah.
But it's like, like I said, I just feel like it just keeps getting brought back in, like just coaching wise, like when you see what's being showed and stuff, like you're like, oh, that's kind of a variation of what we used to run back. Back in the day.
Like you see like a double leg come back more prevalently than something,
because it negates. But that's the thing, it negates scrambles,
something else.
Above, if you get above the knees, it's harder to scramble.
Yep.
So it's like you just adapt.
Right on. Teague, do you think at any point that you think that this whole, obviously we have like FRLs and things like that, where those guys we'll dig into the monetizing thing a little bit here as far as what people are getting paid for and not paid for. We do what we do for free, because we like the sport. Now, of course, there's equipment. When these guys are live streaming stuff, it's not cheap. Yeah. I just coming from, just a high school AV lab, You know, the stuff that they have there is expensive too, you know? So, I mean, there is cost coming into this. There are platforms that you have to pay for. There are, you know, maybe you said you're part of the media, you know, maybe sometimes there are things that cost money for that, you know, that you have to do to, and you don't have to say if it does or doesn't, but there's certain little things that I don't think people realize that there are costs that go into this. So I guess for lack of a better term, I guess I'm sticking up for whoever was kind of getting bashed on the other day, but not really, because what I pay for, like I understood the cost of going into like a podcast machine. I understood that. I understood that what it was going to take to either maybe get someone to come here and talk or have to go online and have to have a laptop, things like that. So I don't think it's bad. I think the argument being made of that the kids are the ones, they're not making any money off of it. You're ranking them. They're the ones putting the work. You're right. They are the ones putting the work in. That's correct. Totally. But there are costs that go into these things that these guys are doing for you to enjoy that. The kids, we tell the kids all the time, don't even pay attention to the rankings. Don't even look at it. It's not important to them. Right. It shouldn't be. They should just be going out and competing. It's for us, the people at large. If the kids want to look at it, awesome. If they want to take it into homeroom and be like, look at where Billy is, you know, like, great, do it. The stress level that's put on them, I think, is, again, a lot of all this stuff falls on parenting. How are you talking to your kid about it? You know, how are you presenting it to your kid? Are you telling him, oh, man, you know, Jacob was here last week and now he's above you by, you got to win this next match, man. You know, like, at some point, do you think that it should be paid for so that way people can't see it? And they can't be rushing to tell their kids, hey, look at where Billy got. Look where he is now. Maybe making it paid for is a good thing so that not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can look at it and put their kid under the microscope. Because we're talking about this study about how it's affecting kids. This literally just popped in my head because I was more like, yeah, why pay for it? Yeah. But when you make it inaccessible to someone who's going to piss and moan about paying for it, maybe that's the parent that shouldn't be looking at it. Maybe that's the parent that shouldn't be looking at rankings and telling his kid where his teammate or someone else is. It's a double-edged sword. I was reading it last night, just kind of like, oh man, like this is, but there's cost. There is cost in this. And if someone chooses to recoup money, that's their choice. If you don't listen to them, don't listen to them. Or if you don't read it, don't read it. Yeah. Somewhere out there, maybe the guy that's doing it for free sucks at it.
Yeah. Right.
You know, how do you know? It's for entertainment. Yeah. It is for.
And I'll say too. I mean, do you care if I name drop on here?
I don't care. What are you going to do? Come to my house? I live at 307 Whitney Street in Kaukauna, Wisconsin. Come find me.
We're talking about a post on Facebook here about like.
Yep.
The WI wrestling guys, like the WI wrestle guys, they're doing this like for their job. So
right.
Like that's I can understand why they're like making it paid for right away. And so I'll speak from my perspective,
yep.
like from when I started.
Yeah, you do it.
I always told myself, like from the podcasting point, whatever content we make free,
yep,
or like whatever content we make, we want to make it for free. We want it to be accessible to everybody. Like that's
your prerogative.
That's just my perspective.
Yep.
I didn't think there was enough content out there to where like I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
Like making something paid for. But again, that's just me. These guys, I'll give WI Wrestle credit in that, like, when they started this, like, they went all in right away.
They did.
Like,
boom.
They got Who's the Big Cheese. They got the live streaming stuff, and like,
yeah.
However, like, they were able to like get the equipment or whatnot. Like,
don't know.
They got a lot of equipment and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if they're trying to make it their living, like I'm not gonna fault them for making people pay for it. Like, I had a Rockfin account already, but like, I'm going to consume Wisconsin wrestling media. I paid for a lot dumber shit for $60 over the course of a year than a Rockfin account, you know? Yeah. So like, I don't really feel bad about it. I don't think they should be like vilified. I don't think it should be called like a cash grab. Like that's
that was when I did see, there were a couple guys where I was like, yeah, you know, and I think I liked a couple comments where, you know, like it should be free kind of thing. And I agree with them to a certain extent, but then when I hear the argument of like the kids aren't getting any of the money, why would they? Yeah. They didn't buy. So
they're also getting the exposure though. Yeah. Like that's the thing. It's never been about like, I mean, I'm sure Zach and I are on the same page as these guys. Like, it's not about money. It's about like getting these kids' names out there.
Yep, getting a recognition.
Like
Correct.
See, that's where I'm not different than you guys, but I like if what they were putting out was just what I put out and trying to charge $10 for it, I'd be like, that's bullshit. But they're putting out videos, and other stuff,
content.
Like if I'm just putting out my rankings and had a forum and that's all I'm giving you for $10, I'd be like, fuck yeah, this is horrible.
Right. Right. You're right.
I'll never charge for mine.
So just to give you an idea, I was looking at cameras, and Teague, you know, I was looking at cameras. You can buy these cameras that are like $80, right? They got the stabilizer, get all this stuff on it, right? And I was like, wow, shit, maybe this is kind of possible, you know?
Right.
But I start reading reviews, and you actually look at the cameras, and I think I went to a store and actually looked at a low-end type camera, right? Yeah. Well, it doesn't look great, but it looks all right, you know? So I was like, all right, well, you could probably spend $100 on one camera. Now, when you're talking about streaming, that's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
You got to have a camera that works properly, that's going to look good, because you're going to have people, like when people watch Flow, they piss and moan about Flow. Yeah. Oh, the feed was horrible, blah, blah, blah. I pay $150. Then don't pay the $150 next time around. You know, that's the problem with social media. It's giving way too many people an opinion that don't deserve it. So the Flow stuff, and they've been doing better. You know, their stuff, but those cameras, the cameras that they use are easily over $1,000 a piece. Easily. Now, for those guys, and I know that our WI Wrestle and those guys don't have they don't have money. They're just young guys starting out. Yeah. But they have cameras and stuff like that. So either they have people that have faith in them, in whatever they're trying to do, that are helping them out, which I can respect totally. Do I necessarily agree with everything that they talk about and say? They don't agree with everything that everybody else talks about and says. That's what makes this cool. So I guess I'm really falling more onto their side.
Yeah, like
where it's like, hey, dude,
it's
like,
your choice. If you want to pay for it,
then pay for it.
Yeah, pay for it. Don't accuse them for a money grab.
Yeah, if
like,
you don't,
what
then
the fuck
come over
is
to
that?
Wisconsin Grappler.
If
all you're looking for is rankings, I got it.
Yeah, and so I was gonna be like, hey, you know, there is free stuff out there. I don't know why you guys are bitching at these guys when you can go find it somewhere. You know, like. And then that's where I kind of felt bad, because I look at the world we're in.
See, I never, like, when I started mine up, it would have been easy for me to try and go on WisconsinWrestling.com and be like, oh, these are horrible, come over here.
Yeah.
Until it got erased, you know. It would have been easy for me to do that, but I didn't want to do that because I wanted to work and get my own following instead of piggybacking off somebody. Like, and it'd be easy for me to comment on WI Wrestle and be like, well, if all you want's rankings, come over here.
Just post your logo in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be easy, but I feel like it's just a bitch move.
It is.
For lack of a better word.
It really is.
And they worked hard to get their following at WI Wrestling. That's hard work.
Well, yes. They have a lot of help.
Yeah.
And so that does help them. And
I'm talking about the wrestling, WI Wrestling.
But those, how long has those could have been around forever?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
okay.
They had to start
2000?
that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so for me to just go over there and try and
take their information,
I would have felt bad.
Right. But see, that's the thing though too, is like I think all of us have an agreement that what we're trying to do is an individual thing.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be like someone else. It's like and I've said this before, I leave the stats to you guys, I leave the deep information to you guys. Where you guys are talking about a team, I'm going to pull out individuals.
Right.
And I'm going to talk deeper with the individual and stuff like that, find out their philosophies on sports and stuff like that. So with the content, like I can't complain about any of the videos, honestly, that they put. I think there was maybe one or two feeds, but I think I recognized that one of them was bad lighting and they turned that camera off right away.
Yeah.
Then they had the instant replay.
Yeah.
You know, doing the instant replay. I was like, fuck, for just starting out, that's pretty goddamn impressive.
Cool, yeah.
You know, getting that pulled off.
And I'll say this, Brad. Like you kind of brought up earlier, like if it was a matter of someone having faith in them and like helping them out a little bit to start out, like they've lived up to that person's faith. I would say.
I would say.
They put in the work, and like they probably made that person happy that they invested their resources. And I'll be honest, like we've had our conversations, and like the stuff I'm saying now is like stuff I told them already, like when I had them on my show. But like any negative feelings I had toward them is like probably just from a little place of envy where it's like, shit, like I just wish this could be my full-time job and like I could do more with it and whatnot, you know? Like,
right.
That's probably where any negative feelings I have comes from them. Like they're doing a great job,
and they're trying to do it full time, like you said. This is what they're trying to do to make, because they like the sport that much.
Dude, like,
it is.
It doesn't work out, you know. Like
right.
That's they're taking a huge leap.
You just spent a year and a half out of the workforce, and now if it doesn't work, you're going to try and get in, especially as a college guy. I mean, they probably have college educations. They're not dumb, but
they got their masters.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, I appreciate what they're going to try and dive into and do, and then hopefully whatever pans out with any kind of negativity for them kind of peters out. Because
the thing is, everyone talks about
stupid.
wanting to grow wrestling, and here's why I'm on WI Wrestle side. Everyone talks about wanting to grow wrestling, like in our like free market society.
Yep.
Like, money's going to be a part of that. So
it is.
You can't talk about wanting to grow the sport and wanting to support the sport, and then when these guys come out like, hey, we're doing this for a living, like if you want to help support it, like,
well, it make it sound like there's
a few extra things you got to pay for. Don't be upset about it, because like money is just like cash is king, man. Like that's just truly.
And don't make it sound like they're whoring the kids out. Like seriously, they're. And you know, to their credit, you know, they said that we're trying. You know, as far as they gave the kids singlets at the event, they gave them gear. I mean, that stuff's not cheap either. Yeah. You know, so I can only imagine. I'm sure there might have been a little help there, maybe not. But as far as that goes, I mean, hey. They're doing the same thing
was it Rudis? If it was Rudis, I'm pretty sure they had help.
WI Wrestle's shirts are Rudis, so
I know where they would have got that.
Pretty sure they got some help, which is fine, and that advantaged them.
Envious,
like
he's saying,
advantage them even better. So that's where I see, like, I can see the not division as far as against each other, but I can see the division of okay, let those guys. They're doing the streaming thing.
Yeah,
they're getting to events and doing that. Awesome, because you know what? I don't want to stick money into thousands of dollars in camera. Would I like to go to one or two and stream them? Sure. Do I want to do 12 mats? Nope. Sure don't want to do 12 mats, because I've seen a guy do it when we went out to Pennsylvania, and the guy that he actually, I think he used to work at one of the bigger name wrestling places, jumped off, started his own thing because he's really smart with computers and coding and stuff. And I saw the setup he had, and I was like, man, no. Yeah. I'd have to hire someone.
My wife asked me if, like, when WI Wrestles first started, like, if they asked me, which they didn't, but if they asked me to come rank for them, would I? And I said no, just because
you're tied to something.
Yeah, like
you can't make up your own mind.
Yeah, but you got your name on it.
Yeah, you know? But like that's what I said. Like, I don't want to send my rankings to somebody for them to be like, I don't agree with this.
Right.
And I'd be like, well, that's my ranking.
That's what I'm putting out.
If you want me to put it out for you, I will. Or I can do my own thing. I don't care.
Right.
You know? Like,
right.
I don't need to make money.
It's called freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom.
So that's why I was telling her. I was like, I don't want her, or I don't want them to be like, well, we think this guy should be higher, you know?
Right.
And I'd be like, well, that's your opinion. These are my rankings. You guys hired me.
Yep.
So I understand it's your name, but you hired me to do it.
You wanted my knowledge to do it, and I'm putting my knowledge to it. So you want to
probably wouldn't have done it. And I definitely, if I did, I wouldn't have got paid for it. Because like I said, I'm doing this anyway for my role on the wrestling team.
Yeah, like you're already putting stats together.
So it's just like, why not just put it out for other people?
So and I totally agree. It's like I said, I think the best way for this all to pan out is everybody know that they are doing it for a reason that is good for them.
Yeah.
And if people want to pay for it, they'll pay for it. If they don't want to pay for it, fine. Don't pay for it. Yeah. Go get it from somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah. Who needs to hear about your opinion on Facebook of whether or not they should be paying for it or not? Nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah, like not everybody knew they were high school wrestlers. You don't have to post
no
that
shit. Like,
these are high school wrestlers.
Really?
Oh my God.
No way. This is crazy talk.
You've never seen that argument before.
Yeah, right? Just someone else jumping on that bandwagon because it sounds good. It's like,
it's not like they're plastering photos of all these guys all over their stuff. Yeah, they're putting videos out, but they're putting videos out of these kids and getting stuff for college coaches, really. Right. I mean, like you're putting stuff out and seeing a demeanor of a kid after he lost, or he took a got a big win. Is he overjoyed, or is he even keel, or is he thinking I should have done better? You know, so to see that as a college coach would be great.
Yeah, they're giving you a view that you wouldn't normally see.
Getting them right off the mat and saying, "How do you feel you did?" Well, you just be a number 5 guy in the nation, and you seem pissed. You know? So that's good.
Yeah, right. Or he just lost and he threw his headgear. Right. I don't want that guy.
Yeah. You don't want the guy over there pouting in the corner that he can't get a video of.
So I again, I think there's a friendly competition when it comes to like who does what kind of thing or whatever. But when I started reading some of the comments, and I think about like what we do, I just wanted to like yell out, like after a while, I was kind of like, oh man, these guys are getting lambasted. And then I was like, these people need to shut up. Like, what, are you serious right now? Like, number one, they're young guys too.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like they defend themselves so much. Like I think people feel like they can say that stuff like
all the time now
because they're defending themselves. Like, just let your work do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Don't even talk to them.
You just gotta let.
Yeah.
Don't even talk to them.
It's hard. It's hard. Like when I
and they're young.
started this, like to every time I put something.
Only imagine.
Fucking just shut the.
Like when I picked Coleman to beat Marshfield at Team State last year, and no one believed me.
No, yeah.
Coleman beat Marshfield at Team State last year.
That was a classic pick. That was a good one.
And that's the like preseason rankings is not the spot to defend yourself, man.
For sure.
Like it's preseason rankings is the time like where like if you want to give a team credit that's returning a lot of starters that might not get a lot of airtime.
Yeah.
Like then that's the time to do it. Like, obviously like we might think a good team should be ranked, top 10 or something, but like if it's a team like a McGuanago or a Holman or something, like they're going to get their time. Like they're going to have a good team.
Yeah.
Like
correct.
they're going to be covered. It's preseason rankings, man. They're just a shit show in general.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying I'm saying that about every preseason ranking.
I call those chatter rankings.
Yeah.
That just gives people something to talk about.
Like that's what I did. Like I had just done a giveaway to try and get to 500.
Yep.
And so then I put my preseason out. I was like, let's just keep this train rolling because I got like 100 followers, and then I was just like, I just got to keep putting stuff out.
Yeah, exactly. And people,
I don't care if it's
it gives something for those old fat dudes that don't know what they're talking about to sit down at the coffee shop and talk about.
Yeah.
When you put that stuff out. So I mean, that's again, it's the entertainment because the preseason's entertainment value.
Yeah, and if you think I'm able to reach out to every coach and know exactly what weight they're starting
right.
out the season, you're delusional.
You're insane.
Yeah,
you're totally insane. So that with that, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Okay.
Nope.
I was gonna say, I just think like, and I took a little offense to like a couple of the comments where it's like, oh, you guys were upset because there was like no wrestling coverage like the last. It's like, what do you guys mean? Like,
holy cow!
With WI Wrestle did a really good job marketing themselves, and like, it's almost like people made it seem like they're the first ones to do it. I just want to be like, time out.
Yeah.
You didn't have Ben Askren sharing your shit.
Right. That's the other thing too. Yeah.
Sharing everything.
Like that's exactly. Like Zach's been at it for like it's your third year now, correct?
No, this is only my second
year.
My first full year. Last year I put it out the start of January just because my wife was tired of hearing me bitching about how bad the other rankings were. She was like, just shut up and do this.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So like second year, Steve and I are on year number 4. Wisconsin Wrestling Online has been around forever. Like, people just need to step back and appreciate. Like I told Brad this on the last time I was on. How many states right now have better all around coverage of wrestling than Wisconsin?
I said only one.
Not too many, and Iowa would be one.
Iowa's the only one that I know of that puts out there. I mean, I've been watching Hager. Yeah. Hager's Corner.
Like Indiana, they have like an Indiana mat, which is kind of like WI Wrestling.
Yeah.
But they've started putting on events now too, so they're kind of getting.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, they're putting on like a who's number one kind of thing.
But that was organic growth too. Those guys did something for a little while and then grew.
Is like 15 years now. They've been at it, but they're just now getting to that. The fact that WI Wrestling could do that right off the bat is just mind-boggling. I think
that
great.
I think we could put an event together based off of what you guys have for rankings.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Getting the people there is the hard part. Like they had so many people like bail on them. It's just
it was only a couple. They got injured at a tournament or something like that. And I mean, honestly, in the Big Cheese, it was a decent event, but it's not something. If I were a guy that either just left the tournament and got kind of injured at it, I'm not going to wrestle in that and put myself at more risk. Kind of thing.
I had a problem with it being beginning of the season just because I don't want our kids to get hurt.
When is it? When is the best time to do it?
After.
That's before season 2. That's before the next season. Yeah, so what's the difference?
No, I'm saying before postseason nationals. Like postseason.
Oh, just before. Okay.
Postseason nationals to me is the end of folk style season.
Okay, so literally end the high school season, have that event, and then postseason nationals.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Kind of like a gear up for that. Like keep something to keep going.
Because they might see each other down at postseason too.
Something
kind of
to keep going for. It's just like a little thing to put in the middle between that 3 weeks.
But when you're a high level wrestler, season never ends.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, like, There's definitely a rest period, though.
No, for sure. So, with that being said, though, too, is like, you stated that would be a great time to have an event. What about further after? You know, a lot of guys aren't doing Fargo, stuff like that.
But you got to you want them to be in somewhat shape. You don't want them to be.
For sure. Yeah.
For 2 weeks and be like, oh, you're probably good to go. Yeah.
Or you're just working at the grocery store this summer. It's cool. Come on and do an event. Yeah. But I think
would
go ahead.
Oh, the thing that I really appreciate about like the state of like the media coverage in Wisconsin wrestling right now is like there may be a little overlap, but like if you want something, like one of us is gonna have it. Like I think of Wisconsin wrestling, they have their forum. So if you want to go complain about something or start a topic, like a hot topic, the forum's there. If you're like,
hey, Teague, do you know are they not doing rankings? You know that?
They haven't put anything out yet.
Yeah, but they would have by now, right? Like, I think that they're...
I would think so.
Because it seems like they're sharing stuff for WI Wrestle, so I assume that either they're working with them to do rankings...
Or they're doing them and handing them over.
Yeah, or they're doing their rankings and getting a cut or something. So I don't know for sure.
It's all speculation.
Yeah.
It's theory. Because if they're not coming out with rankings, then why?
Yeah.
Because then they just have the
Yeah, they just have people that talk on their website then.
Right.
So they're not even doing
So Wisconsin Wrestling has the forum. WI Wrestle, like, great for like marketing, like the top kids. And like if you're an out-of-state person, like that might be the thing that you want to look at. Because it's just like the really, really good kids.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for like pure rankings, like with the detail that you have on your spreadsheet, Zach, like that's probably where people would go. Because I'm not dissing WI Wrestle's rankings, but they need a podcast to explain why kids are where they are.
Right.
Or like 4 years are free. I'm not talking shit.
No, we're just putting facts out there.
A good spot to go for. And then if you want to know like how Billy from Hillsborough did last weekend in a 5-team tournament, then you have the podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Correct. So that's why I kind of think that if people would just sit back and kind of see what's going on in Wisconsin as far as wrestling goes, you can take each one for what it is.
Oh yeah.
You could. It doesn't mean that you got to pay $9.99 to see their rankings. Then watch your fucking Facebook page and listen to what they talk about.
Yeah, somebody's gonna complain about their rankings
every time, dude.
Put a screenshot of them. You'll be able to see them.
Oh, and it's like I hope someone complains about this show. Yeah. I really do. Complain about it. Yeah. And actually, I would.
Sorry, Brad. I forgot to include you in like the Wisconsin media. I kind of just like view you as like you're taking like national people on the show.
I'm trying to, but and that's kind of what I did before. I talked to a lot of like, Troy Steiner and Mark Schultz and stuff, and all obviously great guests. I mean, I almost shit my pants when I saw Mark Schultz on the screen in front of me. But with that being said, I am now, gearing towards not just those guys, but I think it's important. Like I had Coach Machek on. Yes, I live in Kaukauna, but he was just a little more accessible to be able to come into the studio and sit down and talk. I reached out to Verbatim, but I know he's not much of a social media dude, and I don't have his phone number. So that's another guy that I want to have come and sit down in the chair and talk.
I can help out in that avenue.
Please do, because he was talking to Liam the other night, and they were wrestling, and I don't like bothering coaches when they're doing their coach thing. So
just get yourself set up for 3 hours for that one. I'll tell you now.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like you don't get to hear these guys talk about that stuff. So that's the angle that I'm trying to take with all of this, because you have the knowledge of what you have. You have the knowledge of what you have. Those guys are trying to create, content for live streams, stuff like that. If we dabble into it. That's great. But I think if everybody kind of notices that things are kind of being put in place, I will guarantee you, and I'm going to put my name on the line, no one's going to do what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
No one. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's cool. But if someone does step up, I welcome it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that allows me to keep my game up. That allows me to improve on myself, just like sports.
Iron sharpens iron, baby.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. So I enjoy watching every piece, whether it makes me laugh in disbelief or they make me think a little bit more deeper about what I thought maybe I had doubts on or that I questioned them on. Right. I think it's all valuable. Don't pay the $9.99. You don't have to tell everybody in the free-loving world that you don't want to pay the $9.99.
Right.
It's in that, and now I realize, again, a revelation. I was an asshole back in the day. So I get nice. Thank you. Another revelation, I'll talk about Ben when I was an idiot and I would talk shit to him on Twitter. Like I was some badass dude who was going to affect Ben Askren on his daily life. Like, what kind of a moron do I think I am? You know, so, and now sitting back and seeing what these guys do on a daily basis, and now knowing, you know, listening and watching some of the comments on there, and I'm probably going to go back and take the likes off that I took now that I kind of think about things a little bit more. You know, I unfortunately, sometimes I still act on like, that was funny, you know, that was funny kind of thing. And I got to stop doing that. I'm 43 years old. Grow the fuck up. But with that being said, everybody has a role. Everybody has knowledge in something. Everybody's good at something and what they're doing. You know, I can run my mouth pretty well. You know how to run numbers and know the guys. You know almost every fucking team in the state, which is still blows my mind at 250 teams. Oh, yeah. It was like crazy.
330.
Yeah. 330? I think you said that the last time was like 333, and if for some reason I think I have an old number from like 2018 of like 250 or something like that. But
yeah, it's definitely over 100.
Whew. But I appreciate, for the fact of what they do, I appreciate what they do.
Yeah.
I appreciate what every single person has to offer in this state as far as what they're bringing to the table. It's all important. We're like you said.
Dude, I would love if there was like 10 companies that did live stream. Like,
right.
Like,
yeah. More schools covered.
Live stream business. Like, imagine every tournament being available like on a given
so much
Saturday.
easier.
Oh my God.
As my
This is all for Zach.
Yeah, my 20 hours a week I put on the rankings would go down a little bit.
I do kind of wonder sometimes when I message you or whatever, it's like, I wonder if he's probably doing something I shouldn't be messaging him right now.
Yeah.
Sweet. So I guess I want to touch a little bit more. What are we on? We're on 2 hours.
Okay.
Are you on? What do you got going on, Zach? Anything?
I'm coaching today,
You're here.
So yeah, I got to go pick up my
Ooh.
kid.
Ooh, that's right. Duel tonight.
Yeah. Big duel.
Kakana against Appleton West. Yeah. So Liam was talking to me last night. We'll talk about this a little bit, Teague. Kind of get into the brain of Liam and see what happens with him.
Oh, watch out.
Yeah. So they were talking about, we got, Appleton West coming up, and I think someone mentioned that Liam has the hardest guy on the team, right?
Matrick did. He was like, I want him wrestling him.
So a little nervous, and this will come out after the duel kind of thing. But my wife texted me, I'm at work, right? And she's like, I think you got to talk to Liam. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't know. He's unusually tired. And he said something about he has the hardest guy on the team on Thursday. And I was like, we just watched a duel with that team in it.
Yeah. He was the hardest guy on the team.
He was the hardest guy on the team. But what's the complication here? What, did he not see something? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I think he's feeling a little pressure. I'm like, what? Pressure? It's like, are you kidding me? Yeah. I was like, where? So I talked to him. And he's like, no, I'm fine. So I think getting a gauge on a kid is pretty difficult because they hide stuff so much. And some of them are pretty.
What wrestler is this in reference to? Is it
Meyer?
Chris Meyer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the best guy in Appleton West. I mean.
Yeah. He beat both the Nina guy and the Hortonville guy. It's 7 points, 10-3 on one. And he pinned the Nina kid, I think.
I think he was 1 and 2 versus Toby last year. He beat him in conference or something.
Yeah. I think he pinned Toby.
Did he?
Yeah. I think
1-0.
No, I think in one of them he pinned him.
Maybe it was all the other matches were 1-0 because it seemed like somebody was getting rode out the whole time.
So I start out with that stuff. I'm like, well, he beat this kid, and Liam doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, and he only lost by this much to this guy, and I was like, Liam, shut up.
Yeah.
Stop looking at and thinking about stupid shit. You've been practicing for how long?
Wrestle.
Yeah, just go wrestle, dude. Just put 110% on the mat so you can see the freshman jitters.
Oh yeah.
Kicking in for the first duel. I mean, we're excited just because it's the first duel of the year that we get to go to, and plus he's a freshman. But it's one of those things where and I said I'm doing a lot of reason why I do this is because I want to grow with him as well as an adult, and growing through this process because I'm still immature to a lot of this stuff. I mean, I'm a jumpy, little leprechaun up in the stands that still kind of yells at his kid once in a while. Now I'm going to have to keep her down a little bit. Know my rules. That's why I ordered the rules and stuff like that and all the changes. But as you find your way as a parent with kids in sports that are at such a high level and dealing with that kind of stuff, my parents didn't deal with it. So it's like I'm on a whole new trajectory as far as, letting him make his decisions, letting him become his own person. And I think it's important as an athlete and just as a kid alone to be able to fall. And a lot of parents don't let their kids fall. They want to catch them every time. They want to make sure that they're safe and that they have this feeling of comfort whenever there's something wrong. I don't.
Yeah.
I have put Liam in some pretty uncomfortable positions, and I did it for a reason. It wasn't because I don't like my kid. It's because when he leaves the house, I want to make sure he's going to be able to handle whatever he's doing. And I think as far as, and I talked a little bit with Max about this too, the coaching in this state has jumped exponentially. The understanding of pressure, the understanding of just a match, and what a kid's going to go through. Now, I know a coach that maybe didn't wrestle, or he's been around, for coaching for 40 years, and he wrestled back in the old school days. But there's different pressures now. Like you're talking about, there's social media. There's all this other stuff.
Everybody knows everything that happened instantly.
Everything. And it's hard to hide things. And I think, I want to say WI Wrestle made a comment about, was it something about how coaches kind of hide stuff? They do. Coaches aren't going to tell you every single thing. Mm-hmm. But sometimes coaches just don't want to tell you something.
Right.
Because either you don't think they're going to handle it with, like you might go tell the kid, or you might tell the parents, or something might, come out somewhere down the line, because they know that sometimes people just talk. But at the same time though, too, I think, especially with the new season coming up and the duels that are going to be happening, I think our audience, because of all of this stuff, will be more educated. So I'll be interested just to see. I know Kakana people have been educated for quite some time. But knowing that now Appleton West, they only had 2 holes, right? Oh, 4?
Yeah,
what was I not paying attention?
They don't have a 13, a
20,
a 70, or a 95.
Oh, is the 2? Oh, okay, the 2 bigger weights. Okay, so thank you for paying attention, because again, I was just watching to watch.
That's my job.
Yeah, that is your job. That's why I talk to you. But that's why I talk to you. You're a cool dude. I don't talk to you just because you know wrestling. But I think with these duels coming up, I think this season and kind of maybe even next season, it'll start becoming more interesting to me how these teams, and not only the teams, the communities kind of not evolve, but adjust to all of the things, and seeing how reactions are. Like Nina and Hortonville was pretty electric when that was going on.
Oh yeah.
You don't go to every high school and find that type of environment.
Yeah, it was weird though too, because it was in like the auxiliary gym. It wasn't even in the main gym, so it was a lot more intimate. Like they had they had like the row of chairs on the sides too, for like they do for the Badgers.
Yeah, yeah.
They had 2 rows of like that, and
Skinner's a season ticket holder, I think, for the Badgers.
I was the one match I went to. He was right there in the front row. So
yeah. I think that's going to be the most interesting part of I think what I call the evolution of the sport, is watching the crowds.
Yeah.
Watching how people, I'll be interested tonight because we're going to Appleton West.
Yeah.
Just to see what they've built, because they haven't been a huge program. Even when I was a wrestler, I beat Appleton West guys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's definitely an environment, and I was not good, by the way. And I may even gotten beaten by an Appleton West guy here and there. So I'll be honest, I probably got beat by a guy. But I really think, and I love the amount of energy that comes from this type of thing, from a ranking thing and things like that. Now, I'm not looking for fist fights in the hallways, but I'm just looking for people to be excited about the match and excited about the matches. I'm hoping that also then builds with the kids, because the kids work so fucking hard.
Right.
A lot of them do. Not all, but a lot of them do work so hard to get to where they're at. And then to be on a team that's like getting there and they're building up to like you said, the 7 wins or the 8 wins, and they feel that momentum. And this is the fun time, just because everybody's getting out on the mat and being able to see things for the first time. You might see a freshman that's good that you didn't know about. So I told Liam too, I was like, hey man, you might wrestle a kid that's at 160 you never heard of.
Right.
He might put you down. What are you going to do? You don't know. This is high school, dude. You don't know what's going to happen. It's not middle school where you're like, oh, it's just some kid who just started. And
I say I know everything. That doesn't really mean I do.
He's a number. That's confidence. That's confidence. That's all right. But that's the best part with these duels coming up, is now seeing how things have really grown and being able to go to more duels than we did usual, and seeing how the crowds have grown and how the atmosphere and the people's attitudes towards the sport and how many people are out there. And to me, the biggest thing is really just watching the kids and seeing how they compete and the type of environment that they're going to bring, because I think a lot of kids are turned up now with the coaching that we have, the level of coaching that we have. Jamie Nelson made a good point back. This is a while back. He brought up that coaching in Minnesota was, at the time, and maybe they'll still argue that they're better now, but was really good, because they had all these D1 wrestlers coming back to the high schools and coaching, are coming back to clubs and coaching in the area. Now we're finally we're getting that as well. And I'll credit that to, like the Askrens and the Krasses and the Sarbachers coming back around and realizing that they could really do something here, and they have, So that's kind of like the aspect where I'm kind of taking, where you guys cover the schools, which is awesome. I'm going to keep it club. It's kind of, I'm going to bring in, Matt Verbaten. He's going to come in hopefully and talk to me, and we'll talk high school wrestling with him. But I'm going to focus on the little things and the little details. And hopefully we can all see at WI Wrestle, Wisconsin Grappler, Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast, Vision Quest Podcast. We can start seeing the evolution of what we're doing and what it brings to hopefully the environment in a gym, because and that's the thing too, is I'm going to walk into some of these gyms and I'm going to be like, hey, did you check out this? Did you check out Wisconsin Wrestler? Did you read what WI Wrestle said about this? I want to see who's reading stuff and what they're reading. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's another aspect of everything that's coming together. And now with the season starting and having all of us doing this, I'm really interested to see who's paying attention to what.
Right.
That's going to be the fun part. So that's my take on it. I probably just went on a tangent. I didn't need to, but
it's gonna be a fun year for wrestling media. It's gonna be a fun year for wrestling in general.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm just happy to see like a lot more teams traveling outside of the state too. Like West Bend West is going to the Donnybrook this year.
Yeah.
And
Good for them.
So is Hortonville. And then you got Fenimore.
West Bend West, Donnybrook and the Christmas tournament now?
Yeah.
Well,
I think they might be in the Cheesehead.
We got Eau Claire and then the Christmas and then Cheesehead, only a week back gap in there. It's like 3 slammed right into our face.
Yeah, but then you got Fenimore and Milton both going to Independence this year, so that'll be good.
Yep, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, I think Fenimore is going to surprise some people. I think they're going to be, not people that know what they're doing, but I think they'll be really good.
So when you brought up that whole the triple dual thing, that's an interesting factor that now you see a lot of these schools, able to
do these because they can do those triple duels.
Opens them up.
And that, that kind of, I think that's something that was great about the COVID, like that people actually took from that. Like they did the triple duels. They're like, oh, these aren't as bad.
No. And think about it. A lot of these teams,
good thing.
A lot of these teams don't have huge teams,
right?
So it makes sense because it's not going to last very long because they have so many holes. So you can get 3 duels done in a snip. Plus, you can save 1 duel that is going to be the good one for the end.
Yeah.
I get it. Again, marketing. Hello.
Keep people around buying hot dogs. Right?
Exactly. So if they think that just the people that are out there putting content out are looking for money, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
You're nuts.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it. The high school wants you to come in so you buy Skittles and soda and hot dogs and all that other stuff.
What was that?
So what was that?
Real quick on the Husky. We did it last year, but I think you guys might be give you guys something to look forward to. But last year, Jake Rebin and I, he's the Eau Claire North coach.
Yeah.
We went live and we did a pre-seeding show. We got to go through all the pre-seeds at all the weights. And that was only with 12 teams. And a lot of parents, especially all the Arrowhead parents, were watching it and they loved it. So
yeah, hell yeah.
I think we're basically going through, I think with 30 teams there now, it's going to be the top 8 to 10 seeds. And obviously things can change between Friday night and Saturday, but it was a really cool thing. It was really fun to do. And I'm not just pushing it because it was on our page, but I thought it was a really cool idea by Jake to promote his tournament. So
by all means,
something I'm going to put that out in the ether. So hopefully more coaches jump onto that idea.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And I think that's a as far as that triple dual thing, like I said, I'd love to just have one camera where I can go and be able to stream a couple of them. Obviously I work second shift, but I would probably look at a tournament and be like, I'm going to cover this one. I'm going to cover this one. And that's it. I'm going to cover these 2 teams wrestling each other and these 2 teams wrestling each other. That's it. And then be done. And then, like I said, it's because it's not my fucking specialty. I don't have all the equipment to do that stuff, If anything, I'm going to bring my Rodecaster and I'm going to bring it to a duel and I'm going to sit down with it and I'm going to record a podcast while I'm talking, doing that kind of thing. But that'd be nice to have one of you guys along for
guys,
that.
Are we all going to be hanging out during the Husky?
Oh, man.
All day,
I won't be able to hang out, but I'll.
Oh, that's right. You're a coach.
Yeah.
Suck. Oh yeah, because it's JV and varsity.
It is,
and girls too.
I can. He can't. Yeah. Huh? Should I bring my headphones?
Oh my God, do a live podcast from the Husky.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It'd be be pretty. It's gonna be freaking awesome.
Good.
This year. Like
what teams?
Oh, there's a bunch of like good like individuals from teams.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
There's probably only 3 teams that are
notable.
That are like teams.
Yeah. Notable
really
team.
Teams. Yeah. Maybe 4.
Kakana's one of them, right?
Yeah.
Kakana, Arrowhead, Holman, Simley.
Oh, Simley, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then, I mean, Baldwin, Woodville.
This is that Eau Claire one, right? That's the Husky?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you got...
Love Kakana, but I would put my money on Simley right now.
Well, we see him 3 times.
No comment.
Yeah.
No comment, Jamie.
See, our schedule was going to be completely different. We thought we were going to be able to get in the Devil's Duels.
Oh.
But we tried too late.
It failed.
Yeah, it was too full. It was full. So.
Was it? Where's that one?
West-Dells.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
That would have been cool. We wanted a dual meet one, and we couldn't find one. That was the best one we could find, but it was full by the time we reached out.
Might be time to create one.
Yeah, I mean, they used to have a Kokana Duels the first weekend of the season when I first got up here.
What happened to that?
It was just bad.
It's just bad.
There was no good teams that wanted to come. Like, they had Rapids at first.
Yeah.
Then Rapids went away when they kind of had that problem.
That thing?
Yeah.
That happened?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll jump over that.
Yeah, skip right over that situation.
And then, but yeah, I guess Rapids used to come. I can't remember. There was
interesting.
So many stories from.
I say we brainstorm. I say we brainstorm. I really think we do. I think because okay, and I told you this, Teague. Your ultimate team state. I want to make a reality somehow, some way.
So impossible.
Dude, I wish I didn't.
It'd be nice if you get 16 of them.
Impossible takes a week. Jay-Z said that. Okay.
Well,
how do you get so many Jay-Z?
Jay-Z
how do you get like all of those kids to commit? That's the one thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's putting a lot of stuff on the line. They would have to. Everything would have to be so perfect for them to do it.
Then I'll find what that storm is.
Yeah, you got to find it.
I'll find that triple trifecta shit storm that we got to put together.
Luke Duke versus Brian Winans will be there. That'll be a good one. There's a bunch of good ones.
Liam wanted Luke for so long in middle school.
Yeah.
I think Liam was a 6th grader and Luke was an 8th or something like that.
Yeah.
And someone was like, Liam might have Luke Duke. And I'm like, good. They're like, man, he's tough. And I'm like, and?
Yeah.
Don't care. That's why we're here. We want tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a good match, but they were young. Now he still looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Where did he commit to?
Augsburg.
Augsburg?
Yeah.
Good choice. It's a good choice, man. How many times
they've been hitting Wisconsin hard.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Mankato State's another one.
Yeah.
That Minnesota pipeline. They say Missouri pipeline. That just started.
Well, lacrosse has been killing it too this
big
year.
Time, yeah. Yep. And that's the other great thing too, is we're seeing a lot of these good kids that are coming out of the state are staying here for college.
Yeah.
And wrestling, it's even better. So, I mean, you go to some of these opens and stuff that are in the state, and you get to see all these kids compete. It's
lacrosse
fucking
team's
sweet.
going to be loaded. Like, I don't know how they're getting all these kids to go. Like, I'd be like, well, he's going. Why the hell do you need me?
Who's coaching lacrosse right now?
That I could not.
Malachek.
Oh, well, that explains it. You okay?
Oh yeah.
All right. I don't have any insurance liability.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm not a hand model or nothing.
But that's kind of I don't want to create multiple events. I want to do one.
Yeah.
I want to do one. And I think big all the time, and I dream big a lot when it comes to this stuff, and I know certain things will be impossible, but I think I can make something happen. I really do. I think it's possible. I think this state is one of those states that's just starting to kind of in its infancy of becoming like a wrestling state.
Yeah.
We've always been kind of known for Greco. Greco guys come out of here and stuff like that as far as like the international styles.
Yeah.
But now with collegiate wrestling and freestyle and stuff, and with the kids that are making their name on the national scene, we're changing.
Yeah.
We are changing. We are growing. This is fun to watch these guys wrestle.
I love the idea of making Ultimate Team State happen, but I think Podium Winner Palooza would be more of a realistic.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Because what I'd want to do is I'd actually want if we do have, we can get a certain amount of kids, you create a dual team with those kids.
Yeah.
You have a weight for each kid, then you have those guys wrestle one event on Saturday. Wouldn't take long, you know what I'm saying? And then you have the duel the next day. Yeah. 2-day extravaganza. If anybody steals this, I'm coming for you and I'm cutting your nuts off. You understand me? I'm taking it, and I'm going to take your nuts. I'm going to bury them out in a cornfield somewhere. Don't steal this.
Like I said, just get me on the mic. Maybe give me a little like creative credit, and that's
hell yeah. Well, dude, I'm gonna have the masterminds. I'm gonna have the masterminds around for it. And I know guys that I can get on hand to be able to help with. We can find guys for mats and all. It's just we only need one camera, 2. So I mean that's simple enough. We're not going to do 8 mats and just get some of the top kids and put them all together on a team at the same time the next day. And I wouldn't even put that much pressure on the dual tournament. That would just be something that can maybe do that one first.
Yeah.
And then you do the individual the next day where they can have fun and kind of dust some of the dust or get some dust off during the duel.
Right.
And then you have the one-on-one the next day where everybody wants to see that matchup, but it's just one-on-one kind of thing. But either way, it's just an idea I have.
For sure.
But okay, well, hey, I know you guys want to put something in because I think we might end it pretty soon.
Just random. I'm bebopping around on track right now.
Yeah.
Like every year I tell myself Steve and I are going to like put a podcast out focusing more on duels. And then every year, like I'm just looking at like tonight, like, I see that there's like 70 duels on tap. I'm like, shit. Well, it's almost better just to wait it out and see like what happens.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's not even counting like the single ones, I don't think, like, right? Or can you see all the single ones?
No, I was looking at the single ones, but I think like when you add the tries and the quads, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Steve and I like doing our Sunday recap where we like look at every tournament and then that's a little more easy to digest in that sense.
Well, and I think honestly, if I just pick one duel, I think this one, like the Nina Hortonville one, I think was the one of the week or something like that. Cause it was they're going to meet each other and it's going to be a big deal. I think if you and that's what I was kind of trying to look for is just like besides the Nina Hortonville one other one that's really notable that's going on. And maybe you got to wait a week or 2 before that happens.
Yeah. No, I do. Crandon, Shiocton, Wrightstown, O'Connell Falls. That is.
Yeah.
Good quad.
That's good duels all around.
Totally.
Even if it's not good duels, there's going to be a lot of good matches.
So that's something where I would literally want, like I said, I mean, if we know where it's going to be, like if it's on a weekend or something like that, I would definitely show up. I would definitely bring stuff to show up and sit down and talk about whatever's going on with the matches and stuff. I can color commentate. I used to do tractor pulls, by the way.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know you're from Indiana, dude. You should know what tractor pulls are.
I'm from Indianapolis. I'm not from a fucking farm.
So tractor truck pulls, so semi trucks. These guys used to soup up their semi trucks and then they do pulls with them. Yeah. So I used to do commentating with that, and that gets crazier because you can actually come up with nicknames for guys and stuff and start calling them things like out loud, like you're talking about an arena of people sitting there and they're like all cheering. So I did that for a little bit. It was kind of fun. I didn't like tractor pulls though. It was getting a little dirty.
Yeah.
What's the translation from tractor pulls to like wrestling? Like, was there any commentary that you could use? Like,
I could. Like that. Yeah,
that tractor.
That was a strong pull on that single leg. I could do things like that.
There it is.
There's a strong pull on that single leg. Then I could be man. He was wrenching on that like a trucker on the side of the road kind of thing. So look at that torque on that power half. Look at that. I could pull some stuff out.
There you go.
We gotta get Steve on a show at some point.
That's what I'm saying. Did you tell him that he's on my radar?
Yeah, I did.
Good.
It's gonna be hard for me to do a weekend though. Like if he's a school teacher,
Yeah, I know. I just get some alone time with Steve.
Yeah. Steve might end up having to be a summer thing.
Yeah.
Well, like if we're looking to get all 4 of us on.
Oh, that. that's true. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Sundays.
That's the reality.
Sundays usually.
Not to leave Zach out of it if we do it on the weekend.
Yeah. I'm fine with being left out. I don't have FOMO.
So summer thing then definitely with all 4 of us. But I mean, the next 4 weekends, not every weekend's busy for you guys. I kind of know your schedule.
Yeah, but the weekends that we don't have anything, I'm traveling.
Oh, really?
Family.
I don't know that schedule.
Yeah,
that's a bummer.
I thought of a fun thing we could do, like if it's in the summer, like if we get all 4 of us on a show.
Yeah.
Like there can be like a 20-minute period where just you and Steve talk, Brad.
Yeah.
And then Zach and I are writing down, like, we're trying to see how many podium winners we can list from the year prior.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
Like an ultimate, like, Sporkle quiz or trivia like that.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
I'd be pretty good at that.
My wife will put some. My wife will probably be able to help me put some pretty tough questions together because she is a like when she like digs into something, she'll find the little things.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't go past 8 years, I can do it.
Oh.
I just like paced around and tried to remember all like the finalists from like last year. Just
yeah.
Because it's crazy how much information like we brought up last time, Brad. Like, and you know this, Zach. There's it's endless information. So like you're picking up new stuff, and then your brain pushes out old stuff, and then you're like, why can't I remember the 170-pound champion at Division 3 from last year?
Yeah.
It's like
I don't think my brain pushes the old stuff out. It like gloms on the shit that I don't need at all. Like I'll be like, remember that match from like 2015 where this happened? And they'll be like, what the hell?
No, I don't even remember who wrestled 170 last night.
Yeah, so like I'll do that all the time, and they'll be like, that was like your first year here. How the hell do you remember that? Like, I don't know. I just can't get rid of it.
That's crazy. And then Christina has that same thing. Yeah. Liam has it. Liam has information that he'll grab from nowhere.
But like that, you know how you're saying like you text me or something, like you'll say something like or ask me to do something. And if I'm in what I'm doing, that just goes right through.
It just went in and out.
Yeah, it's like if I'm in what I want to do and you tell me to do something, I do not hear you at all.
Yeah,
it's like. So I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll do that later. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's just like
you're focused, man.
Yeah, but there's nothing else like that will glom on. Like if I'm in my zone,
your zone.
Yeah,
I get in zones like when I start talking, I get in zones.
Yeah,
like talk zone. It's just sometimes I can see like Teague will be listening and he's picking at his microphone with his toothpick, and it's like, this guy won't shut the fuck up. Keep talking.
No, I'm just fidgety, man.
No, that's fine. I do the same thing. It's like you can tell I've been moving the chair, like this. It's I don't know. I gotta get that on it or something from Joe Rogan so I can calm down a little bit.
I got some good sit game. I can sit for a long.
You have that?
Yeah.
You must be a good deer hunter because I'm not.
I've never shot a gun in my life.
That's why I bird hunted. I couldn't sit still long enough.
I don't fit in up here. I don't fish. I don't hunt.
You Teague, did you go deer hunting at all? Gun deer?
I am not a hunter. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of have a soft spot for animals. Like that's just me, man.
I don't think I can have you back on the podcast.
Well, I don't hunt either though.
No, dude. Like I'll eat venison, but I can't visualize like
the kill
just putting a deer. Like I couldn't do it myself.
I get it.
That's.
I get angry enough at my dogs. I could take one in the backyard and probably put it down by myself if they get me mad enough.
Yeah, they'd have to.
I haven't been that mad yet, so plus they're old. I gotta give them a pass. One of them can barely make it down the steps.
Yeah, I mean he was really growling at me, but you could tell he didn't really want to do anything about it.
Gonna do nothing. It was that growl was probably more a high.
Yeah,
he just doesn't know how to say it. That's craziness. He's a big gigantic wuss.
Where are you guys headed this weekend?
Nowhere,
man. I take that back. What are we doing? No, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, going. We got JV at Kimberly on Friday, but that's all.
Yeah, I'm talking to Shoot on Sunday. Frank Jasper, that's gonna be sweet.
We used to,
no Shoot Frank Jasper from the movie Vision Quest.
Oh,
yeah. I'm talking to him on Sunday afternoon, so that's gonna be a fun one. And then I think it just lined up John Reeder. Yeah. I'm not sure. So I messaged him and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I was like, "You tell me the time." I know those guys are busy. Everybody's busy right now, especially in the wrestling world. So I kind of leave it open to guys. I just tell them that I'm available during the day, and weekends during the afternoon because we got practices and stuff. And I just leave it open. He hasn't gotten back yet, but that's gonna happen. Right. We're gonna talk John Reeder, and then I think I'm gonna do re-releases. I'm gonna put Mark Schultz back up. Yeah, just because, like I said, I think I did on Facebook Live. I'm gonna do once a week. I'm gonna do every Saturday. I'm gonna do a release. These are little bonus episodes that I'll put out. So I don't want to stop just because I'm going to have another guy, CJ Vroman, come on. He'll be a little bit regular. You know CJ?
I do not.
CJ coaches down he's got First Air Training Facility. He coaches down by the Milton / I can't remember the other schools that are around his area. But
Gainesville.
Yeah, down in that area. He's got a little club down there, and he's kind of worked with Liam on the side. He's a former Marine. So he does a lot of good conditioning with the kids. He actually created a ropes course or whatever they call that in the military out in a patch of woods that he has. It's tough. Like I probably wouldn't have made it through myself. So he's a good guy. He's honest, and he'll tell me when I'm full of shit, and he'll tell me when to shut up. Yeah. So, that's always fun.
You like the dude that'll like push your head underwater for a minute and be like, you have to want to win as bad as you want to breathe.
Correct.
Like Okay.
Yes, with compassion. And he knows how to. For somehow he knows how to do that with compassion. Because I don't. I just look like the guy that's trying to murder a kid by holding him under the water. CJ can do it and look like he has a purpose. So I'm going to have CJ on quite a bit. I know I'll talk to him. Some other stuff coming. But Steve, I got to get Steve on, man. I don't care if it's by himself. If I can find a weekend with him. It's just where he's doing nothing, where I can just kind of get his side of what he, does with you and talk a little bit, because I think it's important. Then, and then eventually I think, like I said, I think we all need to come together to figure out a time this summer and sit down and talk and have some fun with it. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I think if people see that everybody is doing something together with it and not just like, oh, we're better than them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be certain things that I do better than what you do, Zach, or than what RQ does from WI Wrestle. They're going to do something that's better than me. That's the way that it is. And that's what kind of makes the stuff kind of interesting. Are there certain things?
I don't know who would host it, but we should do like a mega-sode in the off season with everybody.
Man. Yeah, that'd be a fight over that, wouldn't it?
That would be that'd be a lot of personalities on one show.
that would I don't imagine we'd have to fight over who's going to monetize it.
My God.
That'd be the big argument, wouldn't it? No, they're paying to watch us. No, they're paying to watch us. No, they're paying to watch us. No, they're paying to watch all of us. Yeah. But
what if we get a meeting spot and we'll do like a call-a-thon or something like that?
All right. Hell yeah. I'm game for whatever. I'll hook up the roadcaster to whatever we want to hook up to. We'll make it fun.
There you go.
We'll sit down and we'll talk rankings. We can talk about the big guys, the little guys. We'll talk about all the guys. But I think
it's a live show / telethon, and then at the end we give like $500 a pop to schools that need new mats or something.
Yep,
like that.
I agree, and that's something else I wanted to talk about too. Is I'm not going to dive too far into it, but it's fundraising. Yeah. That I just had a close friend of ours pass recently from cervical cancer, and I want to do something for cancer. Yeah, I got to figure out how to do that properly. I want to give back to certain things, but yeah, like you said, raise some money, and give back to some of the wrestling community within the state. Some of these smaller schools that are just looking for Facebook posts for free mats, and they're rolling around on those. So I think Max told me is like the mats. No, someone else is telling me that the mats that they have now are just garbage. The new mats are hard to wrestle on. Oh, Stelt was telling me that.
Is it like those Velcro ones?
Yeah, I think he's really kind of comparing it to like the international style mats and stuff like that. I mean, watching how they put them together in Estonia, I didn't realize it was just a bunch of tiny little mats underneath, and then they wrapped that tarp over.
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. I didn't realize it was that like segregated or kind of simple.
Yeah,
but
it's not the same.
And he says it feels way better than when you're wrestling on a regular mat. I was like, that's interesting. I guess I'd never been on a real international mat before.
Because it's like a different material. It's not slippery.
Yeah, it's that foam too, that really thick foam. That's all I've known since high school, so I don't know any other mat.
Talking about like the covering they put over the mat. Like it's,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's more rubbery?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a lot easier grip.
Oh. To me, I don't know why they didn't take notes from that then.
Yeah. Well, then
whatever.
Why aren't we wrestling freestyle? Yeah. Then you get back to that.
Oh, because people know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I know I had fun talking to you guys, man.
Yeah.
This has been good. I appreciate the time you guys have spent, number one, on multiple episodes, but just coming here and throwing your knowledge out and the things that you do. I hope, obviously, I want to have you guys back on again, whether it's the same time, separate. I think we need to continue this. I think that hey, WI Wrestle, if you're listening, which I hope you are. If you're not, come on the show. I'll come on your show. I think I made a comment one time about Milton not being on one of their lists or something like that. And they're like, I couldn't find their forum. Yeah. Once I can't find something, I give up. Like if I've gone through like a couple different places and it's just because out of my ignorance, I don't know where to find it. I just give up.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to the forum that they have. Where do you find it? Where is the forum that they talk about all the time? Is it on WI Wrestling?
There's the WI Wrestling.
Okay.
I don't think that they have a forum.
Their forum is like just the comments like under their posts.
Yeah.
Like,
but on the website of WI Wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Or Facebook.
I couldn't find it on there.
On WI Wrestling?
Yeah, I couldn't find. I saw the forum and I saw discussions.
It's main forum.
Allow me to have allow me to have my guidance counselors lead me. So WisconsinWrestling.com, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I go in and they allowed me into the forums. To be able to comment, which I thought was cool. I appreciate that.
Go down right there. Right there, WI Wrestling main forum.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And WI Wrestle, now I found it.
Yeah.
So I can see what you guys are talking about. But I encourage you guys to come on, and they're probably listening like, we're not coming on your show. Okay, whatever. But I invite you to. Come on the show.
Yeah.
Come talk to us and let us know, what you got going on, what you guys plan on doing. Let's talk. Let's talk wrestling. Let's talk wrestling events, bring it on.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. And I'll go on to your show. I don't care. I'm not scared. I think that's a misconception of doing a lot of this. Like people just sit behind a microphone and just talk shit.
Yeah.
No, call me up. I gave you my address too. I just put my address out there. So by all means,
dude, you might get jobbed. Yeah,
that's fine.
It's like not a Brad.
That's fine. I have a really good life insurance policy. My family will be set up fine. So
I don't think it's that deep.
Nah, it probably isn't, which is fine. But I really want to get this going. I think it's going to be great for the state. Hager has that show down in Iowa. That's off the hook. Those guys don't care. There's no filter. They talk about whatever high school they want to. If they think the coach is shit, they say the coach is shit.
Yeah.
Now, is it really building a sport? Those guys are a little different down there.
Right.
Those guys are a little hardcore
down there.
Yeah, they're built a little differently.
Nothing else to do in Iowa, but look at corn grow and talk shit.
Shuck corn and talk shit and wrestle.
Yeah.
So but it was exciting to see that kind of thing. Now, do we necessarily need to bring the beer drinking and shit like that to the show? No, but I think it could be just as exciting.
Yeah,
and I think we need to do that because I know that he has had people from other shows on his show, and they work back and forth. You don't need to like everybody. Right. You don't have to like what everybody does on every show. But I think it's going to be important to bring this all together for everybody to acknowledge everybody. Don't just.
I got one last question here for Zach. I forgot to bring it up earlier.
Hit it.
So just given the name of the Wisconsin Grappler, like, was the name the Wisconsin Wrestler like an option that you were looking at, and then you realized we had it already, or like were you full Wisconsin Grappler the whole way?
Well, I had to be different than Wisconsin Wrestling. So Wisconsin Wrestler wasn't an option just because they had such a presence. I didn't want to put Wisconsin Wrestling or Wisconsin Wrestle anything because if you put that into Google, the first thing that comes up is Wisconsin Wrestling.
Is Wisconsin I guess
correct.
That's where we kind of fucked ourselves. Yeah.
So I looked into that. My wife's all about that stuff because we run a business on
marketing.
The side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's pretty savvy with that stuff. So she was like, we need to have something different than it can't have wrestle.
Yeah.
Or if it does, it has to have wrestle first.
Sure. Yeah.
And then so that's why we went with Grappler. And I mean, I looked at I think there's another one like Michigan Grappler. Or
yep. There's the Michigan Grappler, and I think doesn't the Indiana have a Grappler?
No,
I thought I just saw they had a
Indiana
Grappler
Matt.
page.
No,
Okay,
it's Indiana Matt, and then they have another one that's a Hoosier Matt or something.
But Grappler just came out with a new event too. They just announced that they're doing some type of event too. But
okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, you know how many times my podcast has been confused as like the Wisconsin Wrestling Online podcast. I'm like, okay, like we're available on there, but we are the Wisconsin Wrestler.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, that's how I found it at first too.
Yeah.
Was going to the Wisconsin wrestling thing.
So when I came up with this last year, maybe the year before when I first started doing this, that's what I was looking at too. Being in sales, I looked at marketing totally. Yeah. Now I wasn't totally thinking about monetizing, but I wanted to separate myself, and I was like, God, I can't call. There's already Wisconsin Wrestling.
Yeah,
can't do that. Then you guys had the podcast stuff out, so that was before I started doing my podcast. And I was like, God, it doesn't need to be Wisconsin. Like, I'm not just going to cover Wisconsin guys.
Right.
So that's where I had to come up with just something different. I was like, what? There's nothing more wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Than Vision Quest, man. Like, so then I looked it up. I had to see who else had Vision Quest. It's like some health food places and stuff like that. I was like, nope, this is different. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The optometrists and shit
trying to sell me peyote. And
probably, coming out of Arizona. Look at this cactus I have. You can eat it. And it's like, no, you can't. Don't do it. But yeah, so that's a good point. Yeah. So I was far from, because then that was the thing when these guys came out with WI Wrestle.
Yeah. Well, that's because
now you're confusing it.
Everything on Rockfin NE wrestle,
Oh
MN
yeah, I
wrestle,
suppose
it's all under like the same umbrella.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to make it all look the same but different.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Grow Wrestling. That's Joe Williamson.
Yeah.
Like I've told before, he kind of gave me my start with all this stuff, allowing me to put my stuff on his platform. I still keep the early stuff on there.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's worth it. But those guys, another proof of organic growth working.
Yeah.
He started out just doing little things like just writing an article, or I think he had a guy working with him for a little bit, and then he had to go back to school, things like that. So he was reaching out for content creators.
Yeah,
he has grown organically, and it has worked fantastically. Yeah, he tried to figure out the live event thing on his own, and he's figured it out.
Yeah, he went through it with Joe Flo though. Like he
did
pretty much
when he left Flo.
Yeah,
yep, correct.
He was there from the start with Joe. So.
Yeah, I was talking to Greg Warren about that. How Greg Warren was actually in some of those earlier videos that they did.
That's how I knew who he was. Like him and his whole Octon.
You were?
Appleton, or what? I can't even say the word.
Askren?
No, it's like he's like makes fun of like this small town like Appleton quadrangular or something like that. I don't know.
He was telling me when I was like, "That was you with that the whole time." I didn't even realize that. You know.
Maciek says that all the time. Like, Appleton quadrangular. I can't even say
quadrangular. Whatever. But yeah, so I just think the name thing just kind of threw me off at first. I was like, who are they? Now it seems like they're tied to someone. You know, now it seems like you're not. But hey, whatever.
I told them when I had them on my show, I'm like, it's not a lot of room for creativity in this industry. Like, we got the Wisconsin Wrestler, WI Wrestle, Wisconsin Wrestling. Like Zach made the right move.
That was a good job. Good job. You did.
I might need to rebrand now that I think about it.
Oh, I just had a logo done, so as soon as I get the approval from the guy that did it for me, I'm going to put it out there. It'll be pretty cool. Then I'm going to wind up doing a giveaway. I'm hoping I can do something towards the holidays here where it's I don't know if it'll be like a quarter zip or something like that. I can
help you out with that. I know you got snapped down.
I have a sponsor, my friend.
Yeah, I know that, but
stop trying to steal me. Yeah. It's not fair.
I just brought it up.
No, but either way, I think it's going to be great. I think with like I said, with what you do and with what you do, Teague, what I do and what they do, I think we can cover the state.
Oh yeah,
and do the things like I honestly, I'm thinking about having Nolan on.
Yeah,
I want to talk to Nolan. I don't know that Declan would want to come on. Probably not. Probably not after that. I guess I want to.
Same time, maybe. But
that'd be kind
definitely not
cool.
I mean, if Declan came on, props to him, man.
Yeah. Totally,
that'd be mad.
Totally. That's the thing is like this. I think people think that we're trying when we do these things that we're on one side or the other. When I leave this stuff, of course, I'm my kid's biggest fan. I am Liam's biggest fan. When I'm on here, I'm a wrestling fan.
Yeah,
I like talking about all of it. I may have bad blood towards some people, but when it comes to the competition side, you can't deny if a kid's good or not.
Oh yeah. Just
because you're pissed at him doesn't mean the kid sucks. So I noticed a lot of that, especially on the national scene. Like, fuck that kid. I hope he loses. Like, why?
That's why I try and put like
personal problem,
my coaching part of this away from it, because like there's schools I dislike,
Sure.
And I'm like, I really want to see him lose.
Yeah.
But I gotta put that to the side.
You gotta put that to the side because we love the sport. We love the thing that we're doing, and we love the environment that it's creating now with all the excitement. So, with that being said, again, I invite WI Wrestle to come and talk with us here at Vision Quest. Bring Zach on. I'll bring you on here. Bring me on there. Bring Teague on. Involve everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm going to implore that WisconsinWrestling.com share everybody's stuff. Because if you're about growing the sport, you'll share it all. Not just one person's, not just who's paying you for something. Share it all. We're all in the same state. We all do the same thing. You may not like results.
We all do different stuff, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. And we specialize in different things, but we're in the same sport and we're all in this together. When you start seeing these people that are, I'm just going to share this one. Well, guess what? I don't really want to pay attention to you then. Because now you're segregating yourself and everything else that you do. You're not better.
Yeah.
You're not. You've been doing stuff for a while.
You're not really for growing because
not at all.
Because you want to grow your thing. And I get that.
Totally. Yeah. From a business standpoint, totally.
Yeah.
But when you want to talk about, don't preach about growing a sport when you're going to segregate who you're liking and not liking.
Right.
You're not growing the sport. You're just growing a product.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
To me, that brings your demerit level in my house down.
Right.
So let's grow it together. Let's do everything together. Share everybody's stuff. And I'm going to be a little pricky right now. And until I start seeing other stuff being shared by everybody else, I'm not going to listen to the whole growing the sport thing. And I'm not going to share your stuff.
Yeah.
Period.
I'll like their post, but I'm not going to.
Sure. I'm not going to share it because I may still think that whatever's in the post is accurate, but I'm not going to put it out there. If you're not going to put everybody else's out there and be non-biased, don't expect everybody else to like your stuff. Right. Period. So I appreciate you guys being on. I appreciate you being honest. I appreciate you guys telling stories and being here. This has been fun. Yeah. We're going to do it again. We all have lives, though. I got to shower before I go to work.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to let some dogs out. One of them probably pissed in the house already, so that's right. They're incontinent. They're old. So, but Teague, I'm going to turn the music on that you can't hear and lead us out. So we got Appleton West tonight. Teague, you said you got some interesting events to go on tonight, so everybody pay attention to Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast. Look for Zach Pearson with some.
Not like doing any streaming tonight. I'm just going to be watching good wrestling. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll probably talk about it a little bit. I mean, maybe if something big happens, you put something out there, right? Who knows?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Never knows. Everybody pay attention to everybody. Okay, we're all in this together. We're all in this trying to do one thing, and I appreciate both of you. So you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you guys later. All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment, very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.